Hi, I'm Yannick Hanfman.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Wolfner.
It's Marc-Andrea Whistler.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the GameToLove Podcast. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Novak Djokovic comes in, he steals the title, he wins the 23rd Grand Slam. He's the first guy in history to win 23 Grand Slams.
Alcaraz is going to win Roland Garros this year. He wants to be the greatest player. He wants to emulate some of the big goats of the game. I think Iga's going to win Roland Garros and win it back to back. It doesn't happen often.
Iga Swiatek, who's going to be picking up her third, and in the men's, Daniel Medvedev.
Rude winning Roland Garros. Ostapenko is going to get her second Roland Garros title.
Carlos Alcaraz is going to win the men's side. Iga Swiatek is going to win on the women's.
Daniil Medvedev and Jessica Pegula will bring home the trophy this year.
Novak Djokovic clinching his 23rd. And then on the women's side, we're going for Ostapenko.
On the women's side, been on fire, has won titles on every surface. Her name is Elena Rybakina. And on the men's, Carlos Alcaraz will win his first French Open.
Novak Djokovic is the 2023 Roland Garros champion.
Hey, tennis fans, welcome back. Sorry that I'm a bit late. We had this thing in South Africa called load shedding where we don't have electricity. I do hope that you can hear me, that my mic and everything is working as everything reset when the power went out. So just maybe hit a comment in the comment section if you can hear me. We are here today watching the most anticipated matchup for this year. I'm, of course, talking about Alexander Zverev against ETCHEVERRY. Now, you might be wondering, well, who is this ETCHEVERRY? I've never heard of this person. Well, I'm going to tell you everything about him. He's from Argentina. Yeah, that's about how much I know as well. Well, I do know he's a big Djokovic fan, and famously he had this picture where he, I think it's when he made the top 1,000 for the first time, something. He showed that he was number 1,000 and Djokovic was number one, and he was showing his progress to where he's getting. And now he is actually on his highest ranking this far in his career. I think it's number 40 or in that range, and he just clinched his first game of this match. It's the first time that Zverev and ETCHEVERRY will be facing each other, and this is the furthest that ETCHEVERRY has gone into a Grand Slam. Zverev, well, he knows the stage, but he hasn't been on the stage for a very long time now after that grueling injury that he got last year in the French Open. Let's see, what are your predictions for this match thus far? Ted going for his Zverev win in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4, 7-5. Todd going for an upset, saying that ETCHEVERRY will get an upset over Nishioka. Well, he got an upset over Nishioka, and I think he's getting another one here. And we've got some other Zverev fans in the chat as well. Andres Rousseau going for ETCHEVERRY in 5 sets. Well, maybe we're going for a Grule here. And Alexander Miljevic going for Zverev in straight sets. And Zverev will be serving next, his first service game of this match. Let's see what he can do as he serves to the backhand, but it's a fault and will be a second serve. Let's see. Zverev serving his second serve to the... It's a double fault starting. Classic. Zverev just reminding us who he is. And it's a love 15 to ETCHEVERRY. Todd saying, yeah, I think Zverev will have his hands full today. ETCHEVERRY in 4. Snail, nice to see you in the chat again. It's been a while that I've commentated. It's nice to be back. And Zverev is now serving. And it's a big serve. And now, almost a passing shot there by ETCHEVERRY with his backhand, but he just clipped the net. It didn't go over, and it's 15 all. And Schneill going for Zverev in 4. Yeah, what do you guys make of Zverev's form? Because, I mean, yeah, he hasn't done well since coming back from his injury, which is expected. I mean, you're going to have to get into it slowly but surely. But, I mean, suddenly it's looking like he's going to make the semifinals of a Grand Slam. Do you think that it's because he played well? Or do you think it's just basically a lucky draw? I mean, I think he's quite lucky so far with the opponents, with all due respect that he has been facing. Like, I mean, Dimitrov, I mean, he's such a pleasure to watch, but he's just I mean, you never know what to expect of Dimitrov. I actually watched that match, Zverev against Dimitrov, and Dimitrov had his moments, but then just way too many unforced errors. Zverev didn't really have to do much. He just had to place the ball back and wait for Dimitrov to self-destruct. And let's see whether maybe the same can work today. I wonder whether nerves is going to play a role in Etcheverry's game today, as this is the further he's ever come in a Grand Slam. We'll have to wait and see. And then suddenly, before you know it, Zverev is back into the semi-final of a Grand Slam, where he'll be facing, if he comes through today, where he'll be facing the winner of a mouth-watering clash coming later today between Holger Rune and Casper Ruud. Hey G, nice to see you in the chat again. Sunil saying, I don't see who stops him from reaching the finals. I'm talking about Zverev here. That's interesting. Well, yeah, it could be interesting. Let's say Zverev, if he wins here comfortably today and makes a big statement, and maybe the Ruud and the Rune match can go like in a 5-set marathon, then it will be interesting to say what the bookies will say, what the odds are. I'm doing very well, Gene. Well, I say very well. Load shedding like just kicked in at 4 o'clock. So now currently in South African time, it's 4:15. So just when the match started, load shedding kicked in and everything went off and I had to restart everything. So that's not a great start, is it? And in 2 hours' time, it will happen again. So in advance, I do apologize. In about 2 hours' time, I'm going to be away for like a minute, but I will be back again. Hopefully, everything will kick in again. So for those of you that don't know, in South Africa, we have this thing called load shedding, which sounds strange, but basically, we don't have electricity for an hour or two. But now we luckily have a generator here in my office, so that works. But that small time frame between where the generator kicks in. It seems like Zverev is now having an argument with the umpire about a ball either being in or not. Sorry, I missed that, so I'm not sure what the details is on, but Zverev doesn't look happy about that. Let's see whether he can keep his cool. I mean, to lose your frustration this early in the match is not really worth it, is it? She's saying about how many Zverev showed at Roland Garros last year the levels he can reach. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was just an insane match, right? I mean, it's like, oh, what would have happened if? Well, we'll never know, would we? It would never happen what would have happened. But I mean, is this the same Zverev than last year? I don't think it is. I mean, and it's to be expected. I mean, you can't come back from such a long injury and just be perfect immediately, unless I guess you're one of the big three. So we'll have to see what form he is in. It is a bit difficult to assess, I think, because yes, he's going far now, but I mean, is it due to a good draw or not? Todd's saying you don't think that Zverev will get past Rune or Ruud should he win over here. Hey, the Maltese disco mate. Not seen you before. No, I haven't seen you before either. I have been here on the GTL team for a while, but I don't commentate that often anymore, I must say. I do it like once every few months. I did it frequently in like 2021, I think, and then 2022 a bit less, and then this year, I think this is my second time only this whole year. So it's been a while, but it's nice to meet you. I guess you are a new regular here. I would South Africa sometime. Do you mean like you would like to visit it sometime? But yeah, it is a nice country. If you're fine with not having electricity now and then. Let's see. Zverev here now with the backhand slice, and it's just in. Etcheverry with the big forehand, and Zverev doing now the running in trouble, and it's good placement there by Etcheverry, just placing the ball in the corners where Zverev can't reach, and it's 15-love at 1 game all. Snell saying Haman Zverev hasn't needed to raise his level because of the opponents he faced. That's true. That's true. So that's why also it's a bit difficult to assess his form, really. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. It's nice to be back. Hi, Michael. No, the accent. So my native language is Afrikaans, it's called. So, yeah, my English is a bit funky. Let's see now, Zverev with a backhand down the line. That's a beautiful backhand down the line there by Zverev. I also always feel so sorry for the double backhanders. When they go with the backhand down the line, people don't appreciate it enough, because when it's like a single backhander down the line, everybody's like, oh, that was just amazing. It's poetry in motion because it looks so beautiful. But then you have a double backhand down the line. It's just as effective, but it just doesn't look that good, and then people don't really appreciate it that much, even though the result is exactly the same. Let's see, 15 all, Etcheverry serving, and ZVEREV is standing very far behind the baseline, and he's now struggling to get to the ball because he's so far behind the baseline. Like, he was at the right space, but just not close enough to the ball there because he's so far behind the baseline. Let's see whether maybe drop shots will be a good option there for Etcheverry in the future. Michael asking, am I South African? Yes, I am from South Africa, just like Gene. Main is saying ZVEREV will catch this in 5. Yeah, I remember last year at the French Open, I commentated ZVEREV against Zapata Morales, and that was a 5-setter, which, oh, what a beautiful drop shot there by Etcheverry. I think he heard me. I suggested drop shots, and he heard, I'm going to claim that. Thank you very much. Nice drop shot, and it's now there for 30-15 for Etcheverry. Well, 40-15. Yeah, that's a beautiful drop shot. I must say, I've really been impressed with Djokovic's drop shots also in his match against, who was it? Kachanov. I think his drop shots were quite effective, and it will be interesting to see whether he tries to deploy it with Alcaraz as well. Obviously, it will be a bit more difficult with Alcaraz's speed. Let's see now. Etcheverry with a forehand. ZVEREV stepping in with the backhand. Etcheverry in trouble. ZVEREV now stepping in with the forehand, and it goes down the line. Etcheverry gets there, though, with a lob. Will it go in? No, it goes out there, and it's 40-30 on Etcheverry's serve. Manasik Zapata is Gene's favorite player. Well, yeah, I think that match was also the first time that we had his button. It's like this mellow song. Well, Todd saying drop shots are a good strategy against ZVEREV. Especially on clay, I guess. It seems like drop shots are extra effective. Let's see. Etcheverry serving at 40-30. He serves to the forehand of ZVEREV, who stands very far behind the baseline again. ZVEREV now the big forehand cross-court to the forehand of Etcheverry, as now just exchanging cross-courts, but the forehand of ZVEREV just clips the net and goes out, and that means that it's a hold for Etcheverry. Let's see, does Etcheverry have his own button? I'm actually not sure. Right, sorry, let me just fix here something. All right, let's see. Yeah, he does. Here we go. Let's give it up for Etcheverry holding, serving at 2-1. Okay. Won't say it's one of my top 10, but hey, let's go Etcheverry. As ZVEREV is now serving, still on serve, 1-2. Gene also saying it's an interesting button. I think, yeah, that's a modest description over there. As ZVEREV serving, he serves to the backhand of Etcheverry. And there's a good return there by Etcheverry, nice and deep. As ZVEREV is now a little bit in trouble. Etcheverry stepping in with a big forehand, and he takes that first point. Oh, but ZVEREV is claiming that Etcheverry's ball was out. And the umpire is going to step in and confirm. And she confirms that it is indeed out by Etcheverry. So the point goes to ZVEREV. And it is 15-love. Hawkeye confirming that, it was just out there by Etcheverry. May not complimenting the song there. Let's see. Serve by ZVEREV. Big forehand by ZVEREV. Will Etcheverry get there? Yes, he hits the ball high. Will it go in? Yes, it does. ZVEREV will have to smash from behind the baseline. Ooh, and did he overcook the smash? No, he didn't. It's still in. Etcheverry with a forehand to the forehand of ZVEREV as they exchange cross-court forehands. Now, Etcheverry tries to go for the line with a big forehand, but he goes just wide, and it's 30 love for ZVEREV on his serve. Let's see, we are 64 people currently online. Let's hope that the StreamYard server can handle these volumes of visitors. ZVEREV serving at 30 love. He serves big to the forehand of Etcheverry, but it's a good return. Etcheverry now with the backhand slice, which just goes too long there by Etcheverry, and it's 40 love by ZVEREV. Shanil saying, Haman ZVEREV Zapata was a straight sets victory for ZVEREV. Was it? Wasn't it a 5-setter? I could swear it was a 5-setter. I remember it as being a 5-setter, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's check quickly. ZVEREV Zapata Morales. I don't know how to spell that. Morales. In straight. Are you correct? Now, why on earth did I think that it was a 5-setter? I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm in my head it was a 5-setter, but maybe it was tight 3 sets. I don't know. Oh, I covered Ramos. Yeah. Well, wow. Well done on your memory, though, by the way. You're right. I did cover Ramos and Alcaraz. That was a 5-setter. Alcaraz and Ramos Vinolas. That was an insane match. Right, let's see. As ZVEREV holds his serve, and it's 2 games all, and let's hit it up for ZVEREV's button. Let's see if he can conjure something else. Sasha, of course, winning his Olympic gold medal. Was it last year, 2 years ago? I think it was last year. It's the 2020 Olympics, but it was held in 2021 due to COVID. Oh, which is still not last year. It's 2 years ago then. All right, let's see. Etcheverry serving at 2 games all, 15 love. Oh, time is flying. I can't believe it's 2023. As he serves, fault, second serve. Michael talking about Steffi Graf and Navratilova. Best case scenario turns out like it. When you say it, what do you mean by it? Some kind of rivalry? So I'm trying to check in the previous chat. Oh, yes, you go. You said, like, Gina, I think Carlos Alcaraz is going to be sending a message to Nadal Novak winning so many majors. So it's going to be like Graf and Navratilova. So Graf was 17 and Navratilova was 30, meaning a 13-year difference, and it remained competitive in majors, but Graf owned it to a 75-2. Yeah, it's interesting. And somebody also recently told me, what are the odds that Alcaraz, this beast of a new, looks to be becoming a legend, is coming on tour like when the legends are close to retirement or retiring? It's quite interesting. Like, what are the odds? Like, imagine Alcaraz came to the scene 5 years ago. How would that have been? But now he comes to the scene, and Federer already retired. It looks like Nadal is close, and Djokovic, we're not sure. So it's quite interesting that when they retire, this new legend comes exactly thereafter. Similar to, you could say, like Federer coming onto the scene just when Sampras was done. And I guess he probably passed his prime. As Etcheverry is serving at 30-15. Oh, and Todd saying that Etcheverry has a dog named Roland Garros. Interesting. I did not know that. As he serves big to the forehand of ZVEREV, but I think it's a fault. It's going to be a second serve. Etcheverry serving to the forehand, no, to the backhand of ZVEREV. ZVEREV runs to his backhand. Now ZVEREV with a big forehand And now they're exchanging forehands cross-court. Who's going to go down the line first? ETCHEVERRY now with the backhand to the backhand of ZVEREV. Nobody opting for the slice yet. Interesting, they're just happy to slice there by ETCHEVERRY, which goes nice and deep. And now he steps in with a big forehand, tries to go down the line, ETCHEVERRY, but he misses just. And the point goes to ZVEREV, and it's 30-all. Yeah, I don't think ZVEREV is going to try anything funky or try to mix it up. I think it's fairly straightforward what he's going to try to do. When he's serving, just go big. And when he's returning, just hit the ball back in play and wait for ETCHEVERRY to probably make the error first. Which doesn't make for the most entertaining tennis, but hey, it's efficient. As ETCHEVERRY is now serving at 30-all. As he serves a fault second serve. He serves the backhand of ZVEREV, who stands very far behind the baseline. I want to see more drop shots. Oh, that's a bad error there by ETCHEVERRY. His backhand going long. And it's 30-40, and that means that it's a break point for Sasha ZVEREV. Let's see whether ZVEREV can capitalize on his first break point. ETCHEVERRY serving at 30-40. He serves a fault second serve, and ZVEREV is standing very, very far behind the baseline. Second serve. He serves to the backhand of ZVEREV. ETCHEVERRY with the big forehand to the backhand of ZVEREV again, as ZVEREV hits that ball wide with his backhand. And ETCHEVERRY is going to confirm that it is indeed wide by ZVEREV. ZVEREV wants to have a look himself as he goes to the net. I'm pretty sure that was wide. And ZVEREV admits that probably that is the case. And we're back to deuce. 2 games all on deuce. So Michael's saying Federer was 19 and Sampras 29. Novak is 36 and Carlos Alcaraz is 20. Yeah, it's interesting. We forget like how young Sampras was when he retired. So in terms of age, they were closer to each other, but in terms of beginning of their careers and end of their careers, it's basically the same. I'm wondering, like, what do you think when, Michael, if you had to guess, when is Novak Djokovic going to retire? Well, I guess the question is twofold. First question is, how will he retire? Will it be due to an injury? Like, will he keep on playing until his body can't any longer? Or do you think he's a type of player that will retire when maybe the results doesn't come his way any longer? But I'm also wondering, like, he's such an athlete that it's so difficult to see how he will start losing and get bad results due to an old body. I mean, because that's the thing. Like, it's for me difficult to envision how Djokovic is going to retire, because I'm thinking like his body will keep up almost indefinitely. Obviously not indefinitely, but I mean, I can see him going in still with like within the high 40s. And if he still gets results, I can't see why he would stop. Yeah, as I say, Sampras retired, was burned out. Yeah, he didn't have great results there at the end. And then I think for him, it was important to bow out at the top. So I think like, yeah, when he got the Grand Slam, it's like, okay, well, now it probably makes sense to go out on a high. And Gene saying, yeah, it was a missed opportunity there by ZVEREV, and it's a coup d'old for ETCHEVERRY, and that means that we have to celebrate with a fantastic song. Hey, everybody, sit down. Done dancing. I know it's a great song, but let's just calm down and see what's happening here. Zverev smashes that ball away, and it is 15-love. Okay, let's see. Predictions of Novak's retirement. Michael saying Novak will retire around 39. Okay, that's surprising. And it seems like Snail is actually agreeing by saying 2026. And Novak is 36 right now. So you're agreeing that he will retire in 3 years. That's interesting. I mean, I would actually guess that he can still play for... If I had to guess now, I have to put money on it. I will say 5 more years. That would be my minimum, actually. 5 more. I would say between 5 and 7. Now, I know that's ridiculous for any athlete, but I mean, he's still in such good shape that is, I struggle to see him retiring in 3 years, unless he's the sort of player that will retire when results don't come his way any longer, maybe due to like Alcaraz becoming the dominant player, but I don't know, eh? Maynard saying, when Novak retire once, he'll break every record. Well, there aren't many left, are there? I mean, he's got the Grand Slam record. He's got the #1 record. I mean, what else is there still that you'll have to add? Like the calendar slam? Do you think that can still happen? I can't think that's a realistic challenge any longer with like Alcaraz coming up to see. Maybe, I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, Michael's saying, I can see Alcaraz owning Novak, and that could determine when he retires. Do you guys think that, given, like, if we say that Novak's retirement could be heavily influenced by Alcaraz, right? Do you think that amplifies the significance of their next matchup? Because I'm thinking now, this will be their first Grand Slam meeting. So this will send out a big message by Alcaraz to Djokovic, or Djokovic to Alcaraz, what the result of that match would be. I mean, if, let's say, for example, if Alcaraz destroys Djokovic, that's a big message stating, yes, I am here to stay. I'm going to be an issue for the remainder of your career. But if Novak destroys Alcaraz, then it's a big message like, okay, we're on the Grand Slam stage, so let me teach you a little lesson. I'm here to stay. You're not going to get anywhere on the Grand Slam level as long as I'm competing. I mean, and that could play a big influence on the remaining of their matchups, the message being sent in that match. Or do you think, no, I'm overthinking it, it's just one match and we shouldn't read too much in that one match? It could still go either way in future matches. I don't know. Tell me what you think. As ETCHEVERRY is serving, and it's already love 15. ZVEREV putting a little bit of pressure on his serve already in this game as well. ETCHEVERRY serving at love 15. He serves the backhand of ZVEREV. It's a good deep return there by ZVEREV. ZVEREV now stepping in with a big forehand to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY, who tries to just stay into this rally. ETCHEVERRY now with the forehand to the big forehand of ZVEREV, now stepping in closer to the baseline. ZVEREV in control. It goes down the line, and now ZVEREV will go with a backhand drop shot. And it's executed, but ETCHEVERRY gets there, but ZVEREV is at the net, puts the ball away. That's some nice variation there by ZVEREV. He started behind the baseline very far back, and then he went in as he saw that ETCHEVERRY is in trouble, and then ended up with a beautiful backhand sliced drop shot there, and then he's at the net to put that volley away. And it's love 30. Michael saying, no, it's only one match. We shouldn't read too much in the result that might be shown in the matchup between Alcaraz and Novak. Right, good serve there by ETCHEVERRY, getting him out of trouble. And it's 15-30. ETCHEVERRY serving. He serves a fault, second serve, and ZVEREV standing very, very far behind the baseline. He serves, and now ZVEREV stepping in with a big backhand return. And Etcheverry can't handle that return, and it's another point for ZVEREV. And this means this is 2 more break points opportunities for for Alexander ZVEREV. He's had 2 in the previous game, couldn't convert any of them. Maybe he can convert one of these. Double break point for ZVEREV. Etcheverry serving. He says the forehand of ZVEREV is a nice and deep return there. And did that ball go wide by Etcheverry? Yes, it did. It did go wide, and that means that it is a break. The umpire is going to confirm, but I do think it is a break for ZVEREV. And the umpire does confirm that the ball is wide, and that means it's a break for Alexander ZVEREV. First break of this match. All right, Leslie Schneill saying, I don't think Novak's retirement depends on Alcaraz. I would say if Novak's results go down against the top players, maybe top contenders to win slams, not only Alcaraz, consistently he might retire. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like, if Alcaraz is the only problem and he still makes finals, I don't think that will influence his retirement. It's more like if you start losing frequently and to a wider range of players, I guess. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to think who that might be in 5 years' time, right? Because it's almost like ZVEREV and Tsitsipas is becoming the next lost generation. I mean, controversial statement, but things are starting to look that way, eh? I remember I made like a year or 2 ago, I made the controversial opinion that I don't think ZVEREV is going to win any slams. And now actually that seems to look quite likely. And actually what I want to know from you, do you think maybe that's true for Tsitsipas as well? Looking how Alcaraz destroyed him yesterday, do you think it's possible, or what do you think is the likelihood that Tsitsipas does not win a single Grand Slam in his career? I mean, that is quite unthinkable to think about that like 2 years ago, but now it seems like it could be possible because this new generation, if you will, like your Holger Rune, your Alcaraz, they are looking insane. The Maltese Disco mate saying, Sport has always had dominance, Maina, since the start of sport. It's always been there in football, tennis, badminton, swimming, rugby. It's something that's not avoidable in any sport, some dominance. But it's interesting, like tennis, you would expect, I mean, sports work differently in terms of score, right? Because if you compare it to, let's say, a football league, let's say the FA Premier League, you are less prone to upsets versus something like tennis where it's a knockout tournament, right? So as soon as it's knockout, then you lose one match or you have one bad match, then you're out. Versus a league, you can still afford to have a few upsets, but still the better team in that case will win. So in that case, I would have expected for tennis, that is a knockout tournament every time, to have more upsets and therefore less domination. But it seems like that is not the case, which just makes it so interesting how the big three were able to dominate despite this being a knockout type of tournament. Let's see now, Etcheverry love 30 has an opportunity here to break back. Let's see ZVEREV now with a backhand cross-court to the backhand of Etcheverry, who tries to go down the line with his backhand, but it goes against the net, and it's 15-30. What's he saying? France in football is a perfect example. They're constantly winning tournaments. Yeah, so, I mean, in a World Cup, a football World Cup, I mean, it's knockout from a certain stage, but you can still afford to lose a game or two in the group stages, right? Let's see, ZVEREV now with the backhand to the backhand of Etcheverry. He tries to step in. He tries to get more aggressive. Can this pay off? But it might as well try. Zverev now with the backhand. It goes to clips over the net as they're exchanging backhands. ETCHEVERRY now with the forehand. He tries to go down the line, but Zverev gets there. Now ETCHEVERRY with a forehand cross-court to the backhand of Zverev. Now a slice drop shot there by ETCHEVERRY. Can Zverev get there? He can't. And the drop shot works again. It's been working now every time. He should utilize this more often. And it's 15-40 for ETCHEVERRY. And he has 2 breakpoint opportunities to break back. Interesting to see. And Zverev didn't get to that drop shot at all. He got there, but he wasn't able to generate enough topspin to get the ball back over the net. Let's see. 2 break points opportunities here for ETCHEVERRY. Zverev serving at 15-40. As he serves in the net. Who are we looking at a Zverev special? Let's see. Second serve, 15-40. It's in. And now Zverev with a backhand. Now a slice there by ETCHEVERRY. Zverev stepping in. Now a big forehand by ETCHEVERRY to the forehand of Zverev as they're just exchanging rally in the middle of the court. Who's going to take the first risk? They're practicing now in the middle of the court, basically, just getting their eye in. And ETCHEVERRY tries to go with a big forehand down the line, but it goes just wide as a breakpoint saved there by Zverev. Michael saying, but what if Carlos Alcaraz begins to dominate like Federer 2004, 2007? Will Novak stay around like Navratilova? Interesting question. Interesting question. Yeah, Mena saying Steph didn't mentally recover from Roland Garros 2021. That's an interesting take. Let's see. Gene saying Tomas ETCHEVERRY is the first unseeded player to advance to the quarterfinals at the Roland Garros without a single set dropped since Filippini in 1999. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you very much for that, Gene. Let's see. It's another breakpoint opportunity here. ETCHEVERRY going with the backhand to the backhand of Zverev, who goes in the middle of the court. Zverev not taking any risks on this breakpoint. Will he wait for ETCHEVERRY to make an error? And he does. ETCHEVERRY does make an error. It's a forehand in the net. Fist pump there by Zverev as he saves both breakpoints, and we're back to deuce. Alex saying it's pretty crazy if Zverev or Tsitsipas don't win any slams, but the 3 players tipped to be the next big 3 8 years ago are still slamless in their 30s. Yeah, it's always for me interesting to think like all the generations. Now you have your big 3, and then you add your Berdych, your Tsonga, and so forth. And then the generation after that, you had your... Okay, so I would say Berdych, Tsonga, Ferrer. And then after that, you had your Nishikori, Raonic, Dimitrov. And then it seems like you had your Zverev, Tsitsipas. And every time you think, okay, now this is now the next gen. And then, no, apparently not. And now we're having next gen, which is now your Alcaraz and your Rune. Right, seeing it's out there by ETCHEVERRY. I think that ball went long. And it's advantage for Zverev as he wins 3 points in a row. Oh yeah, and team as well. But our team, yeah, he had good results. But obviously not at the level of multiple Grand Slams. And it's odd. I would never have guessed that his single Grand Slam would be the US Open and not the French. But oh my word, what a bad final that was, eh? The Zverev and team final. That surely is the worst Grand Slam final that I've ever seen. I would go as far as to say one of the worst matches, just in general, one of the worst tennis matches I've ever seen. Big serve there by Zverev as he goes with a big cross-court. Ooh, what a great get there by ETCHEVERRY. Can he get to the next ball as well? He is, but Zverev is at the net. He pushed that ball away, and he wins like 4 points in a row, I think that was, as he holds. And he then now leads the set 5-3 with a break in hand to Alexander Zverev. Now, I know all of you hope that ETCHEVERRY can maybe break there. Even those of you that are ZVEREV fans, you probably hope that ETCHEVERRY can break there because you just so much want to hear the tune, the classic tune of Tomas ETCHEVERRY. But maybe we can play it after this game if ETCHEVERRY can hold here as he serves to the forehand of ZVEREV, and the return there by ZVEREV goes long. It's 15-love. Michael asking, who's going to disappear in 3 years? I've been following tennis since 1976. Wow. If Carlos Alcaraz stays fit, he's taking tennis to another level. Who's going to disappear? So when you say disappear, you mean like those that are maybe like at an old age? Do you mean like retire when you say disappear, or do you mean like just fall off the rankings? I guess that also that it depends a lot on injuries. Like Dominic Thiem, we could probably say he disappeared, but that was due to an injury, probably more than just his form dropping. As for the love for ETCHEVERRY, you know what that means. We are 1 point away from a fantastic tune. Get your dance shoes ready. 40 love for ETCHEVERRY. He serves big to the forehand, the backhand of ZVEREV, and it's unreturned, and that is hauled by the one and only Tomas ETCHEVERRY. Oh, sorry about that. You caught me off guard there. Oh, Alex also joining in there in the fun. Oh my word, what a tune. Like if we just post this to YouTube, I'm sure it will go viral and just dominate the charts. I will not be surprised if they change the Grammys, the name of the Grammys, to the ETCHEVERRY Awards, just based on that. ZVEREV will now be serving for the set at 5-4. If you like that tune, of course you do hit the like button on this video. We are 91 people in the chat. Let's see if everybody likes this video, then we can be close to 100 likes. And that could take us just a step closer to making the Tomas ETCHEVERRY tune go viral. Sneil is saying, check my previous comment. Let's see, what is your previous comment? Is the one on Federer. Federer in 2004, 2007 didn't win all slams. Novak, after being old, would only care about slams, and a single player hasn't won all 4 slams of a year, and I don't see it happening. Yeah, so let's see. There are a few statements in this statement. Federer didn't win all slams. Well, he didn't win all, but I mean, basically the only ones that he didn't win was basically the French Open finals against Rafa. Let's see. After being old, Novak would only care about slams. Definitely, I agree with that. And a single player hasn't won all 4 slams of a year, and I don't see it happening. Yeah, I don't think all 4 slams in a year is going to happen in the future. Well, I guess the likelihood is increasing as the courts are becoming more, what's the correct English word here that I'm looking for? It's more like similar to each other. I think like way years past when like the grass was extremely fast and the hard courts were faster, but now everything is like a bit more similar, and you can see it in the way that they play on Wimbledon. It's more like rally orientated. So I guess that increases the likelihood because now you don't have specialists really. I mean, all the baseliners basically play the same way regardless of the surface. Obviously, it's still different, but not maybe as different as it was 10 or 20 years ago. As ZVEREV is now serving for the set and he takes the point, 15 love. Alex did a few 360s. Yeah, I guess that's the danger of this song. Like there should be a banner, like a warning, like that Game to Love won't accept any responsibility for injuries that you might obtain from dancing to that catchy tune. I should maybe tell Ben and JG, like, I'm just scared that there's some kind of claim against the channel for some injury obtained. Chanel saying, I mean to say, even if Alcaraz dominates, Novak won't care because he just cares about the slams. Yeah, well, I guess dominates, like, if he dominates the slams, then I feel like those two statements can dominate, but he dominates the slams, and then Novak does care because it is the slams that he is dominating, right? It will also be interesting, like, whether Novak can maintain a high enough ranking whilst sacrificing maybe more and more of the other tournaments. But it seems like at the moment he's doing exactly that, and he's still like ranked number 2. So yeah, I guess he can. Oh, that's a beautiful forehand winner down the line there by Zverev. That's just beautiful. That's one of the shots I struggle with personally quite a lot, is the top spin forehand over the net down the line. You have to generate so much topspin, and my ball either goes into the net or it goes like into the school across the tennis courts. Let's see, 30-15, Zverev serving. He serves to the forehand of Etcheverry. There's a big forehand there by Zverev. He's now retreating, and it goes with the backhand to the forehand of Etcheverry. Yes, they're just exchanging without taking any unnecessary risks. Zverev now having to go down on his knees to get that backhand. And it's a backhand down the line. Etcheverry gets there. Zverev now with the backhand down the line. And now Zverev with the forehand cross court. Etcheverry going with the forehand down the line. But Zverev gets there. Now Etcheverry stepping with a drop shot. Can Zverev get there? No, he can't. And the drop shot works again. The drop shot works again. Has one single drop shot by Etcheverry not worked? No. All of them worked. Now, I'm no coach, but thinking about it mathematically, if your success rate stays 100%, then maybe deploying it more often is a good way to go. Alex saying, Ben would never return my tips even if I broke a leg. Michael saying, remember, I lived tennis history. In 1987, when Graf went 75-2, but Navratilova went 2-4 in major finals, beating Steffi in 2 finals. The next year, Graf went on to win the Golden Slam in 1988. Interesting. So let's see. I just want to read this again. So Graf went 75-2 in the year, but Navratilova went 2-4 in major finals, beating Steffi. So Navratilova was dominant in the Grand Slams, but Graf was dominant in the other tournaments. But then in the next year, Graf went on to dominate the slams as well. But she's saying it's highly unlikely that Alcaraz just wins all slams. Yep, it does stay unlikely, definitely. Gary, nice to see you again. Once in every 4-6 months. Looks like there's going to be a grinder. Yeah, let's see. Zverev has match point. Can he capitalize on this point? He goes with a backhand to the backhand of Etcheverry. And now the backhand down the line by Zverev. Can Etcheverry get there? He does. Zverev now stepping in with a forehand, but Etcheverry gets there again. Zverev will have to smash. But the ball goes out by Etcheverry. And Zverev does claim the first set of this match at 6-4. He takes this first set. Are we going for a straight 6 victory as predicted by some of you? Are we in for a few more surprises? I think Etcheverry is struggling with the Zverev serve, and also I think Etcheverry does need to use that drop shot more often. But hey, it's 6-4. First set goes to the Olympic gold medalist Sasha Zverev. And it seems like Zverev is going to take a bathroom break. Some controversy I saw with these insulin shots that he needs to take. Seems like they're not giving him enough time to do that. Or not enough time, but not enough. Like when I say not enough time, I don't mean like the minutes are too short. I mean like not frequent enough opportunities to take the shot. Curtis, you say you just popped in to listen to the Sasha song. Well, if you think the Sasha song is good, wait till you hear the ETCHEVERRY song. It's going to blow your mind, Curtis. Now, I know usually we only play the songs when they've done something well in the match, but hey, I'm going to make an exception because it's almost Christmas. So here we go. Let's give it up and give some motivation to the one and only Tomas Martin ETCHEVERRY. What a banger. And not only is it so rich in its melody and its chords and its variation in rhythm, but also the lyrics are so powerful and so motivating. Truly a masterpiece. Ghost saying, man, I would kill for a German lager right now. 8 a.m. is too early. Well, I've got good news to you, Ghost of Gorillaitis. In my time zone, it's currently 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So no, it's definitely not too early for a beer. Alex saying, it's pretty safe bet that Djokovic would trade one of his slams for Zverev's gold medal. That's an interesting question. That's a very interesting question. And I guess I would agree with you, yes. I guess he would trade one of his slams for Zverev's gold medal, because I also feel like he still has a few slams up his alley. Whilst the gold medal, we're not so sure. Hey? So when is the next Olympics? It will be in 2024, right? So it's next year. It's next year. And as far as I remember, it's in France and it will be on clay. So that will be interesting. And it will be interesting to see whether Nadal will participate in that one. What do you think in the chat? Do you think Nadal will play in the Olympics? Chanel saying Novak at Australian Open is levels apart. I don't see Alcaraz beating him. Yeah, I must agree with you there. I mean, it seems like he'll just keep on dominating that service. Against who did Alcaraz? Oh, Alcaraz didn't play in the Australian Open, did he? No, he didn't play. He had an injury before Australian Open, so he didn't play in the Australian Open, which is quite a pity, because that would have also been interesting to make some observations there as to what we can expect in the future. Curtis, yeah, agreeing that song is just absolutely insane. Maltese saying it sounds morbid. I'm guessing you're sarcastic, right? That's good sarcasm there, with that lively tune there presented to you. Alexia, you should be careful. Dancing to that tune can lead to serious injuries. So, but I mean, it's difficult. I mean, basically, I have to warn you that the song is going to start. So you can just make sure that you are strapping yourself against the couch to make sure that you don't go too wild there. Okay, saying slams are more impressive than gold medals. It's cool to have one, but less so. Definitely slam is more impressive, I would say. But taking into account the quantity, like if you have 22, whatever, where are we now? 23, 24? Can't keep track. Slams, but 0 gold medals. I think you would be willing to sacrifice one of them for a gold medal. But if you had to choose, you either win 1 slam or you win 1 gold medal. I would say, yeah, I would rather choose 1 slam than 1 gold medal. Yeah, on time, BME. Jane saying, pleased to see you. Long time no see, man. Sorry, Jane, I must admit I can't remember you, so I'm very sorry about that. But it's nice to see you again. Yeah, I should do this more frequently, then I'll remember all the faces better, but it's nice to see you again. Gary saying, just heard a stat, haven't verified it. No need, Gary, this is the internet. No need for verification of any facts. But Novak, 5 tie breaks at Roland Garros this year, 0 unforced errors. That is insane. That is insane. Interesting. Michael saying Novak is 36. Navratilova was dominant at Wimbledon until Graf took that also over. Young grade is always better than a middle-aged goat. Yeah, so stating there, I guess, that it is possible that Alcaraz could become dominant at the Australian Open as well. Ghost saying, I had this debate with Michael. He's on your side. I hear you and respect the position, but I just think the slams are more strenuous and require more talent to achieve. Yes, so in isolation, I would agree with that in isolation, one slam equals bigger than one Olympic gold. But it's like the scarcity thing, right? Because the more there is of something in a pot, the less value it has in one unit. It's like the Bitcoin, basically, having value because of its scarcity. So in Novak's portfolio, if you will, as he has more of the one, it maybe decreases in his personal portfolio versus the Olympic gold medal. Curtis saying, I don't think Nadal will play the Olympics, though. Maybe doubles with Alcaraz. Oh, well, I haven't even thought of that yet. That will be interesting to have them play doubles together. That'll just be insane, actually, now I'll think of it. Curtis saying, Michael, only have one qualm with your thoughts. Novak is not like any other 36-year-old. He should be the overwhelming favorite at Wimbledon this year and next. Yeah, definitely. Like, if I think Wimbledon this year, I can't think even who would be second. Novak is so far ahead of the rest that I can't think what the odds will be, because, like, I would think it would be like Novak at 1.1 and then all the rest at like 6, 7, probably. Like, I don't see anyone challenging him over there. But I guess we never know what to expect of Nick Kyrgios, eh? I see he wants to coach now. Did you see on Twitter? And then hilariously, Ben Stiller interacted with him on that post, because famously in a match, let's make sure I get this correct, because you're also knowledgeable that you will know when I'm incorrect or not. So what happened, Ben Stiller made some noise for the Venga boys, but also in the match between Kyrgios and Nadal, Ben Stiller being a Nadal fan. And Ben Stiller made some noise, and then Kyrgios had some issues with it, and then he was like telling Ben Stiller that Ben shouldn't tell him what to do because he won't tell Ben Stiller how to act or something like that. And now Kyrgios posted on Twitter saying, I want a coach who is willing, like, who should I coach? And then Ben Stiller said he's interested, but then we should just first decide who's coaching who. So there was a bit of a feud there. I'm not sure whether it was exactly a friendly feud, but it was a feud nevertheless. Casey making an interesting point that ZVEREV has devalued the Olympics. Now, why I'm saying it's an interesting point, I'm sure a lot of you will say that's an unfair statement, but there's also this debate around the value of the World Tour finals. And I think this opinion has originated that the World Tour finals is maybe not as valuable anymore due to the people that have won it in the recent past years. If you think Dimitrov, and then Zverev, Tsitsipas, like the big three hasn't really won the World Tour finals much recently. And then people would argue, therefore, it's valued less, which is an interesting take and maybe not that fair if the reason is not necessarily because the big three are not participating. If they are in fact still participating in these so-called lesser value tournaments and not winning it, but somebody else, then I think you cannot argue that it now has less value. Okay, so now I'm an accounting lecturer, so not exactly hedge funds, but hey, close. It's finance. Cedric, nice to see you in the chat again. Let's see, Maltese saying, I think it takes more than talent to win a slam on the men's side because of the best of 5 sets. Oh, that's an interesting also point. We didn't talk about the difference of best of 5 versus 3. So it might mean more to the women to win a gold medal, maybe because they play the game, play the same. Yeah, so I guess it being best out of 3 in a Olympic gold, it's more upset prone. Does that influence the value of it? I'm not sure it does, really. I think you can argue both ways. You could say it's now more difficult because of it being 3 sets, actually. Obviously, it's easy on the body, but it's easy on the body for your opponent as well. And you could argue that you now need to focus more because you can't afford to lose a set because it now counts more against you losing a set in a shorter match than it would in a Grand Slam. So I think you could argue both ways, whether it's beneficial or not, it being longer. Carrie's saying 2 things about Nadal. 1, we have no idea yet if he will ever recover from these injuries. That's quite true. 2, what age 30s men's player has ever come back to the top after 1 year absence? That's a very, very good question. Very, very negative, but very, very accurate. I mean, if you look at Federer, he came back, but I mean, he was not the same player at all. So maybe we might see the same with Nadal, that he comes back, but he's not the same beast as he was previously. And it almost sounds like that Nadal is expecting the same, hinting that it could be his last season next year. Okay, saying, I loved it when Noel freaked out on Tokyo. It showed me he was really committed to getting a gold medal. But in my mind, his title wins on tour are the best parts of his goatness. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, people will always quote the slams. Maltese, I'm putting this lightly here. I'm not fond of Kyrgios. Personally, putting aside his personality, if you will, I love watching him play. So I'll just also just put it out there lightly. If I had to choose, let's say, so Maltese, you say you're not fond of him, right? But let's say you get the chance to watch a live match and you've got 2 options. You've got, let's say, I'm trying to use now good examples here to prove a point. Option 1. Sorry, let me just pull out the rankings here because I want to use an example that sounds like I'm trying to say something. So I'm going to say tennis live rankings, men live ranking. All right. So you've got 2 options. Option number 1 is you're watching Cameron Norrie, who is number 13, against Tommy Paul, who is number 16. Okay, that's option number 1. You get to watch Cam Norrie, number 13, against Tommy Paul, who's number 16. Option number 2 is you get to watch Nick Kyrgios, who's number 24, against Bublik, who is 46. Which one would you choose to watch? Both are free, and you can watch any of those matches. Very interesting to your thoughts. Which one would you go and watch? Let's see, I'm a bit behind on the comments here. Oh, sorry. The comments are. I'm gonna get to all of them, I promise. Or not, maybe not all of them, but I'm trying to catch up. Yeah. Cedric asking, are there other players with diabetes? I actually have no clue. Cedric, it's an interesting question because, and it's a really good question actually, because I'm surprised that this issue is only being brought up now, because it feels like on social media, everybody agreed that it's ridiculous that he can't take the shots. So it's a good question, like, how was it treated before? Casey saying the best of 3 makes it more random, and it's difficult in tennis because the schedule is already packed again. Yeah, I agree with that. Maltesing, yeah, I guess that's a fair point. I suppose slams are more of achievement after all. Yeah, sorry, it seems like you're having your own. I'm not following all the statements made in this debate, but I'm glad it seems like you're having a good time. Ghost, I cannot help you. Hide your money. No, I can't. Curtis, you have the Wimbledon odds here. Knoll 1-1, Alcaraz 3-1, Medi 7-1. That's interesting. Berrettini 9-1. That's interesting. Zverev, Sinner, Kyrgios, several at 20. Fritz at 51. That is surprising. Huh? Don't you think that's very surprising? Fritz at 51. That is... Do you agree with me that that is not reflective of what the odds for him should be? I mean, he did very well last year, and he's not in bad form. So I'm quite surprised that he's at 51. Yeah, Alex, I remember when Joker was all set to win gold in Rio, but got Delpo. I mean, how unlucky is that, hey? To get Del Potro in round 1. And something similar could happen again, I guess. Like, let's say you get a Kyrgios in round 1, although his ranking is now quite high due to his Wimbledon final. Oh, no, it didn't count any points. How is he ranked 24? Suddenly that feels odd that he's ranked 24, despite Wimbledon having not counted any... I guess, like, didn't he win Washington or something like that? I can't remember. Andre's saying, I'd rather go to a Kurt Darren show than Kyrgios Live. Really? Really? So for those of you missing the reference, Kurt Darren is a singer from South Africa. He's with all due respect, I'm sure he has a very nice personality, but one could argue he's not the most talented singer. Maltese saying, I watch Kyrgios Bublik on mute. That's interesting. Option 2 all day, Kyrgios versus Bublik. I must say I agree with you on that one. Cedric would go for number 1. Chanel saying, Iga was so dominant last year and you thought it could only get better, and then she gets 2 rivals this year. Maybe next year Alcaraz gets some rivals who play at his level. That's very true, right? Like Holger Rune could become equally as dominant, and then maybe there's another youngster, similar age or a bit younger, that could pop up as well. Sean saying, Norrie threw skew that vote because he's the... Well, I did it on purpose, right? I try to choose the dullest players who are ranked high, and then the most exciting players who are ranked low. It's so disrespectful, probably. I'm sorry. Let's see. Etcheverry is serving here. Should probably get to the match as well at some point. It's 2-all. Etcheverry serving at 40-15. And he went to the net there. A bit of variation. Would you know that? So I see there's a talk on Jimmy Connor. He played for too long, or maybe he should have kept playing thereafter. Jimmy was my guy, so I'm biased, but his 5 wins at the US Open on 3 different surfaces are some of the most electric tennis wins of my lifetime. I guess in terms of, did someone play for too long or too short? I mean, based on what? Like, if the player enjoyed it, who are we to say he shouldn't continue? And if the fans enjoy it, I mean, yeah, then why not? I guess there will always be this argument whether you are hurting your legacy by playing on for too long. But I must say, most often I don't buy that argument that you are hurting your legacy when players keep on playing after their prime, because I always feel like after they retire, we remember them based on their prime years and not their last years. Like, think of your sports legends, even like Federer. I mean, if you think of Federer, I think of the 2004-7 era, really. Or like, if you think cricket, you've got your Ricky Ponting. He was very bad at the end of his career. Sachin Tendulkar was also very bad at his career. But we remember them during their prime years. Sean, Curious 14-1, has he even played tennis this year? No, he hasn't. But I mean, whether he played or not, I think he practices. Either way, not at all. So I think whether he actually plays and not plays, I think he plays the same level, really, because I don't think he's really a type of player that relies on form and practice, but it's just like raw, natural talent that gets him through. Hey, Max, nice to meet you as well. Yeah, Alex saying Kyrgios won a tournament just before Wimbledon. Just before Wimbledon. Did he? Well, I remember, was it Stuttgart or something? No, it wasn't Stuttgart. It was some tournament. He withdrew just before he would have played Batista Agut. I remember that. And I was quite upset because it would have been a nice match. He's just beaten, can't remember who, but I watched that match. He played a good match. He's beaten someone, and then he would have played Batista Agut, but then he withdrew. And then, did he play either Halle or Queens? I can't remember now. Maybe you can remind me in the chat. Gary saying, remember, Alcaraz was outplayed by Sinner at the US Open last fall. Sinner blew a match point. What we're seeing right now at the French is skewed a bit. I think, yeah, Gary, also what I mentioned earlier, but I think you weren't online yet, is the fact that Alcaraz didn't play Australian Open. I think that would have given us a lot of data as well in making some assumptions of what we can expect in the future. As the serve there by Zverev is too big, and it's 15-all still on serve in the second set. Okay, saying Fritz is now at 33-1. Okay, Rune at 21. 51 and 33-1 were odds I got earlier. Oh, okay. I still think Fritz is much better pick. Yeah, definitely. He's definitely a much better pick at 33-1 than Berrettini at 9-1. I would agree with that. Michael saying, I've lived tennis history, but I expect Carlos Alcaraz to have a run like Rafs, Seles, and Federer when they first began to dominate. I expect maybe 4 years, then he gets some to challenge him. Alex, Evans and Norrie never made any of the top 10 excitement lists. Oh, Alex, we need an Etcheverry song. He held serve. I couldn't agree more. Let's give it up for the one and only. Well, at least let's wait for the end of this game. I think let's wait for the end of this game. And even if Zverev is able to hold, then we'll give it up for Etcheverry for a nice effort. Let's see, Zverev serving. There's a fault, second serve. Let's see, Zverev now to the backhand of Etcheverry as they're playing very safely. Oh, that's a beautiful forehand down the line there by Etcheverry. Zverev was able to get there, but not get the ball back in play. Ooh, and it's a break point. It's a break point opportunity here for Etcheverry. Interesting, bold move there by Etcheverry, going for the big forehand down the line. I must say, Zverev hasn't taken many risks this far this match, but it wasn't really necessary this far. But let's see whether Etcheverry can maybe claim this break point. Zverev serving at 30-40. He serves big to the forehand of Zverev. Oh, it clips the net. Zverev now stepping in at the net. And can Etcheverry get there? Yes, he can! Yes, he can! Etcheverry gets the break point and he pumps up the crowd. And now we have even a better reason to play the tune to congratulate Etcheverry on a massive break there, as he now leads the second set 4-2. What? You want to hear it again? Ah, fine. You forced me. Let's go. That's just a banger. If you want to increase the odds of this becoming the official song of the YouTube channel, and when I say YouTube, I don't mean Game to Love, I mean like YouTube in general. Like, you open YouTube and then the song plays automatically in the background. Do you guys remember MySpace? Didn't it work like that as well? Like MySpace, I think, when you opened it, it played a song. It played a song of the band's MySpace that you're visiting automatically in the background, I think, right? Can some of you remind me if you're old enough to remember MySpace? Anyway, if you want to increase the odds of it happening to YouTube, you open YouTube, it just plays that banger. Do hit a like button on this video. Maybe you can make this the most liked video in YouTube history. And then that song could become one in the YouTube archives, being remembered as one of those defining moments in internet history. Let's see. Etcheverry serving in the net. Zverev now with a big forehand to the forehand of Etcheverry. Zverev tries to change direction, but he hits that ball wide, and it's 30-15 on the serve of Etcheverry. Etcheverry serving at 30-15. He says the forehand of Zverev. And now Etcheverry tries to go for a big forehand cross-court, but it goes wide. And it's 30-all. Ooh. Are we looking for trouble here? Can Zverev break back? $30-all. Etcheverry serving. He serves. Oh, it's a great serve. Wide serve to the forehand of Zverev. And because Zverev stands so far back, Etcheverry was able to utilize the angle. It's not a big serve, but it's placed so wide with spin that Zverev wasn't able to reach far enough to get there. And it's 40-30. Etcheverry serving. It's a fault. Second serve. It's a double fault. Etcheverry channeling his inner Zverev. And it's deuce. Yes, Ghost, I am from South Africa. And I want to remind you also, so in South Africa, we have this thing called load shedding. Basically, for certain periods of the day, we don't have electricity. So unfortunately, so we have a generator here. So I have electricity throughout, but there's like a period in which it goes over to the generator or from the generator back to the grid. So at 6 o'clock, which is for me in about 30 minutes, I'm going to disappear suddenly because of the generator losing its power. So I'm going to be away for 2 minutes, but I will be back. But I will warn you closer to the time. But don't go anywhere. I will be back soon, and then we watch this remainder of this mouth-watering clash as Zverev hits that backhand down the line for a winner, and it's advantage to Zverev. Can he break here? Wait. Nope. Nope. All right, let's see. Zverev, break point over here. It's a fault by Etcheverry. Second serve. Second serve to the backhand of Zverev, who stands very far behind the baseline. Zverev now with the backhand, which goes in. Zverev now the big forehand down the lines. Etcheverry gets there. Etcheverry in trouble. Zverev dominating. Etcheverry now with a lob, but it goes back, and Zverev does break. And we're back on serve in this second set. Etcheverry not able to hold his serve there, and we're back level at 4-3. Whoops. Just when we thought this match is going to take us to a different direction, it's level again. Yeah, I must say, if I had to predict, I would say I'm still saying a straight sets victory to Zverev. Yeah, I don't think Etcheverry has enough weapons or a consistency for that matter. The drop shot has been working every time, but it seems like he feels like he shouldn't use it more often, which is strange. But hey, I'm not in his situation. Maybe it's difficult to execute due to the play of Zverev. Zverev serving. If he holds, then it's 4 games all. Zverev serving. A fault just wide. Second serve. He serves the backhand of Etcheverry. Oh, but it's a double fault. It's double fault, love 15. Zverev serving. A fault. Second serve. It's another double fault. Zverev classic, bringing us today on the game to love. And it's love 30. 2 double faults. Gary saying you believe Steffi and Pete quit at the right time, and so did Navratilova and Evert and Federer when they were ready. So tell me, Michael, what retirements do you think were not at the right time? Can you give an example where you think the person should have kept playing, maybe? Or do you think all retirements are done at the right time because the player decided to retire? I guess like when it's clearly due to an injury like Del Potro, then it's just sad. Then it's not really, yeah. Then you can't, I guess, say it was at the right time because it was taken out of the opponent's hands to decide it. Zverev serving at 15:30. Second serve very slow. It's like we're watching the US Open final again. Zverev now stepping in with a drop shot. Etcheverry tries to go for the passing shot, but ZVEREV gets there. But the next passing shot, Etcheverry is able to capitalize that point, and he takes the point, and he apologizes to ZVEREV. I'm not sure why. I can't see anything disrespectful there. But this means he has 2 break points back. So let's see, why did he apologize? No, I can't see why he apologized, but he apologized. Ghost, is it true that Cape Town is running out of water? No, it's not true. We almost did like a few years ago, but now we moved on to a new issue of electricity. But no, our water is fine at the moment. Let's see. 2 breakpoint opportunities. Etcheverry with the backhand to the forehand of ZVEREV as they're exchanging rallies in the middle of the court. Who's going to go for the risk? No, they're just practicing their backhands. Now Etcheverry with the forehand to the forehand of ZVEREV. It goes big cross court. Etcheverry now opting for the slice. ZVEREV stepping in. And now Etcheverry will have to try and lob. ZVEREV, it's going to smash. Oh, it's a horrible smash. It's a horrible smash by ZVEREV. And he smashes that ball long. And that is a break by Etcheverry. Somehow I just knew when he was going for the smash, I'm like, he's gonna mess this up. And he did. Horrible smash there by ZVEREV. And it's another break. Again, I think it's now 3 breaks in a row. Etcheverry takes that break, and he will now be serving for the second set at 5-3. And the umpire is also like, oh my goodness, I haven't seen a smash that bad since, well, Dimitrov against ZVEREV. He also had a terrible smash against ZVEREV in one of the stage ups. But hey, well done to Etcheverry, who now will be serving for the second set. Can he do this? Serving for the set. 5-3. As he serves the forehand of ZVEREV. It's a good return. ZVEREV now with the backhand, which goes just over the net. ZVEREV now with the backhand. Down the line. Is it in? Nope, it's not. Just wide there by ZVEREV. Tries to go for a winner. Backhand down the line, and it's 15-love. Etcheverry. Saying Murray had a bad smash earlier this year, right into the net. Rune had a bad one too. In Rome, maybe. Okay. I know Djokovic had a few shocking ones in his career as well. Ooh, that's a great forehand there by Etcheverry. And ZVEREV not able to handle that, and it's 30-love. I think there's one by Djokovic against Nishikori, which is quite a funny one. Or it was Nishikori against Djokovic. When Nishikori, I think in one of those two, maybe you can remind me, there was a horrible smash. Let's see, 30-love, Etcheverry says the forehand of ZVEREV. Now Etcheverry with the forehand to the backhand of ZVEREV. It goes to the forehand of Etcheverry as they exchange cross courts. Who's going to change direction? Ooh, slice drop shot by Etcheverry, and it works again. I'm telling you, the drop shot works every time. And it's 40-love. And that means that it's 3 set point opportunities for Etcheverry on his serve. Oh, it's a marvelous drop shot. $40-love, Etcheverry. Triple set point. He serves. Oh, it's a big serve, but it's out. Second serve. He serves to the backhand of ZVEREV. And now ZVEREV with the forehand. Ooh, it's just over the net. Etcheverry with the backhand to the backhand of ZVEREV. Exchange cross courts. And now ZVEREV with the forehand to the forehand of Etcheverry. Etcheverry hits it in the net. Etcheverry hits it in the net. And it's 1 set point saved by Alexander ZVEREV. Ooh. 40-15. Second set point as he serves. There's a fault. Second serve. He serves a double fault. Double fault. But he still has one more set point. Is he going to choke this? Served by ETCHEVERRY, 40-30. He serves. It's a fault. Ooh. Second serve. Second serve. To the backhand of ZVEREV, who stands very far behind the baseline again. ZVEREV now with a forehand cross-court to the front of ETCHEVERRY, stepping in. ZVEREV now with a big forehand cross-court, but it goes wide by ZVEREV. It goes wide by ZVEREV, and you know what that means. ETCHEVERRY takes the second set, and we are one set all. ZVEREV shaking his head. He can't believe it. The set was in his hands when he broke back, but then ETCHEVERRY was able to break back again and hold his serve, and he takes the second set, 6-3, and the second set goes to the one and only Tomas ETCHEVERRY.
Tomas, Martin ETCHEVERRY, Tomas, Martin ETCHEVERRY, Tomas, Martin ETCHEVERRY. Might be good, but he's also scary.
Would you believe it? Let's see. Winners, 9 for ETCHEVERRY, 8 for ZVEREV. Unforced errors, 9 versus 10. It's a close set. Total points won, 27 by ETCHEVERRY, 22 by ZVEREV. It was just, I think it's just due to some poor play by ZVEREV there, really losing focus. I think it all started there with these two double faults, making it love 30, and then it got broken there. So I guess those two double faults are just, you can't afford to do that, especially late in a set. Todd Hill saying, I'm thinking ZVEREV is about 85% of his pre-injury form, which is why I picked ETCHEVERRY in this match. 85%, interesting, Todd. I would actually go even lower than that. I would say, like, I guess it also depends on which form we are talking about. If you're talking about, like, his French Open form last year, the match against Nadal, that is the highest form I've seen from him. I mean, you could also say maybe the Olympics, but I mean, that match against Nadal, he looked so good. I don't know whether we're ever going to see that form again. Carrie saying, I still think ZVEREV finds a way. I also think ZVEREV will still find a way to win this one. Suwon Lim saying, excited for Rune versus Rude. That's going to be a great clash. Not only are they both high ranked, not only are they both very good on the clay, but what also adds that spiciness is that they don't get along off court. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one is going to play out. Make sure you all join us for that match on the Game to Love podcast coming your way later today after this match. But that's the thing. We don't know how this long match is going to take. Yeah. And ZVEREV will be serving first in this set. He serves the backhand of ETCHEVERRY, and now the big backhand down the line winner by ZVEREV, making a statement. He barely even celebrates. Oh, because it was wide. Makes sense. Love 15. All right, he serves. It's a fault, second serve. He serves to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY, stepping into the court. ETCHEVERRY now with the backhand to the backhand of ZVEREV as they exchange cross courts. Now ZVEREV with a backhand down the line. ETCHEVERRY gets there with these forehands. ZVEREV now with the forehand to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY as they just exchange rallies in the middle of the court. ZVEREV goes to the side with a big forehand. ETCHEVERRY gets there though. ETCHEVERRY now with the backhand deep to the backhand of ZVEREV as they still continue rallying. And ZVEREV hits that ball in the net. It's a bad error there by ZVEREV. And it's love 30. It's love 30. Window of opportunity here for ETCHEVERRY to take a break immediately. Gary saying this could be the match of the day when it's all said and done. Definitely could work out that way, especially if it goes to a 5-setter, which I will not be surprised. Let's see, ZVEREV serving at love 30. He serves to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. ZVEREV stepping in. Ooh, and ZVEREV hits that ball in the net. That's a bad error. Bad error there by ZVEREV. He was in total correct position there, but then he just hits that ball in the net, at the net. Love 40. Love 40 and 3 break point opportunities for ETCHEVERRY to get ahead in this match. ZVEREV serves. A fault, second serve. ZVEREV serves to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. Now ZVEREV tries to go for a backhand down the line, but it's wide. It's wide, and that means it's a break to love for ETCHEVERRY to kick off this third set. Would you believe it? All right, so already we have a glimpse of how the set could go. Tomas ETCHEVERRY showing us that he can indeed take this match despite being the underdog. All right, let's see. ETCHEVERRY backhand to the backhand of ZVEREV, who scoops it up, but he scoops it too much with too much power, and it goes long. And it's ETCHEVERRY 15 love. Gee, nice to have you back. And yes, I'm quite jealous because I'm actually quite hungry now, but it seems like I'm not going to get to food anytime soon. How this match is going. Let's see. ZVEREV, ETCHEVERRY serving low, rather. It's a fault, second serve. Curtis asking, is ZVEREV slipping back to his less than ideal form of the past few months? Yeah, I must say he's not really playing very well at the moment, is he? ETCHEVERRY now with the forehand to the forehand of ZVEREV. ETCHEVERRY doing all the running. ZVEREV is going to step in and go with the backhand. Now he's going to be at the net, ZVEREV. Oh, that's a nice half volley there by ZVEREV at the net. Beautiful. And the crowd are applauding his finesse and skill, his craftsmanship, if you will. Commentating as if it's Wimbledon. It's 15-all. ETCHEVERRY serving at 15-all, and it's a fault, second serve, as the sun is slowly disappearing over the grounds at Paris. He serves to the backhand of ZVEREV. It's a nice and deep return by ZVEREV. Now it's a big forehand to the forehand of ETCHEVERRY. ZVEREV in control. He goes for a backhand cross-court as they exchange forehands cross-court. Now ETCHEVERRY with a backhand to the backhand of ZVEREV. Now ZVEREV in trouble. ETCHEVERRY going for the backhand down the line, but ZVEREV gets it with a forehand slice, which is nice and deep. ETCHEVERRY stepping in with the forehand to the backhand of ZVEREV, and ZVEREV hits a winner with his backhand cross-court. That's a beautiful play there by ZVEREV. And he fist bumps as he's now taking 15-30. I'm usually not a fan of the forehand slice, but that one went nice and deep. So that then put the ball nice in place for ZVEREV to the backhand cross-court winner there. Etcheverry serving at 15:30. It's a fault, second serve. He serves to the forehand of ZVEREV. It's a nice and deep return by ZVEREV, who now tries to get more aggressive. ZVEREV now with the backhand cross-court to the backhand of Etcheverry. He's in trouble. ZVEREV now with the backhand to the forehand of Etcheverry. Now ZVEREV with the forehand to the forehand of Etcheverry, who goes nice and wide. ZVEREV in trouble now. Etcheverry stepping in with a big forehand. Can ZVEREV get the ball back? And it's a smash by Etcheverry, and he puts the smash away. Etcheverry in control at the end, and it's 30-all. Yeah, I feel like this is a crucial hold for Etcheverry over here. Etcheverry serving at 30-all. He serves the backhand of ZVEREV, and now it's a forehand to the backhand of ZVEREV. It goes cross-court. Forehand by Etcheverry down the line. ZVEREV tries to get that ball back, but doesn't generate enough topspin. And it's 40-30 for Etcheverry. Can he hold? As we approach 1 hour and 45 minutes, probably not even halfway yet. Etcheverry serves at 40-30. He says the forehand of ZVEREV, and now a big forehand to the forehand of ZVEREV. Goes cross-court. Etcheverry now cross-court forehand. ZVEREV goes to the backhand of Etcheverry. Now Etcheverry with a great backhand. ZVEREV now has to go for the slice. He's in trouble. ZVEREV now with the forehand. Etcheverry with a big forehand to the backhand of ZVEREV. He goes cross-court with his backhand to the backhand of Etcheverry. Now they're exchanging rallies in the middle of the court. ZVEREV with a big forehand cross-court as Etcheverry gets there. ZVEREV again with a forehand to the backhand now. Drop shot by Etcheverry, but the drop shot fails for the very, very first time in this match as he puts that drop shot right into the net. And it's deuce. Gary saying, volleying at the net is one of the tennis skills that mesmerizes me. I must say, my volleys aren't great. When I play doubles, I'm not really very useful at the net myself. Gary saying, Haman, did you see where a journalist recently asked Rune about his experiences playing in South Africa and Kenya as a junior? No, I did not. He praised Lloyd Harris and others. That's interesting. No, I actually missed that. Yeah, it seems like Lloyd Harris actually put up a good fight against ZVEREV in the first round of this tournament, coming back from an injury himself. 40-all, Etcheverry. He serves to the forehand of ZVEREV, and ZVEREV hits that return in the net. That's a bad return, and it's advantage to Etcheverry. As this game is now heading into its 7th minute. Ghost asking, is clay a big thing down there, or are you mainly a hard court? Yeah, I've actually never seen a clay court my whole life. So no, clay isn't a thing at all here. It's basically all just hard courts. I would love to play on clay one day. Advantage, Etcheverry's second serve. He serves to the backhand of ZVEREV. It's a nice return by ZVEREV. ZVEREV now with the backhand down the line. Etcheverry with the forehand to the forehand of ZVEREV, who has a nice cross-court backhand, but it's a nice response there by Etcheverry. Now stepping in with a big forehand. Drop shot by Etcheverry. Can ZVEREV get there? No, of course he can't. And it's a great drop shot by Etcheverry. And that means that he holds the game and he leads the set with 2 games to love. Have your big moments in sports history. You have you could say your Federer Nadal final at Wimbledon 2008. You have your cricket, if you think about the big matches like your Pakistan against India in a World Cup final, you have all these big moments that you remember in sport. Like, I lived through that. I was actually alive, or maybe even you watched the match. And I think we all today could say that we watched what would probably be known in sport in the future as one of the pivotal moments in sports history, is this matchup between ZVEREV and ETCHEVERRY. I think like people say like sport, like that ZVEREV ETCHEVERRY game comes to mind immediately because of its high quality and impact on not only tennis but in sport in general. I think they are truly transforming what we know as sport in this truly remarkable match, and we are all here to witness it. Isn't that wonderful? As ZVEREV is stepping in with the backhand, ETCHEVERRY now. Oh, that's a great half volley there by ZVEREV at the net, and it's 30 love. Guessing ETCHEVERRY is getting some acute angles there. Call him Kurt because of his angles. Huh? Kurt Angle. WWE. I think that one worked. Thank you very much. Gary saying using the slice as a weapon is also a higher level tennis skill. Yeah, I mean, Federer was so good at that, using the slice. I know Kyrgios commented on how underappreciated his slice is. And Alex enjoying the ride on that great button. Go saying the greatest moment in sport was in Matt Damon helped the Springboks win a World Cup. All right, let's see. ZVEREV, 40 love. He serves big to the forehand of ETCHEVERRY as a great backhand. Oh, it clips the net on, and it just went over. And ETCHEVERRY apologizes for that. Probably won't have an impact on the match, but he apologizes nevertheless. I do want to remind you, currently in my time zone, it's currently 7 minutes to 6. At exactly 6 o'clock, our power is going to switch from the generator to the grid. So I will be away, hopefully for not longer than 2 minutes. Everything is going to reset, and then I have to reset up everything quickly again. So I will be away for 2 minutes. Everything will disappear, but I will be back very soon. So please don't go anywhere, because I guess you all are just so nervous about who's going to take this match. I mean, ZVEREV, he just held his serve, and now ETCHEVERRY is a break up, but he could be broken anytime. Who knows? That's the beauty of sport. There's no script. Anything could happen, as Ellie Goulding would say in one of her songs, who famously sang also at the retirement party. What an odd choice, huh? Where she sang at the retirement party of Roger Federer at the Laver Cup. It was also sad, and then she suddenly comes with and we're gonna let it burn, burn, burn. And I'm like, what? That's not the vibe at all of what we're trying to achieve here. But anyway, ZVEREV holding his serve, and it's 2-1 for ETCHEVERRY. Sean asking, what's bigger, the next gen curse or the Netflix curse? I would say based on frequency, it must be the next gen, because the Netflix curse, we don't have a lot of seasons to go by to determine whether it's actually a thing or not. Like, it can happen once, but if it happens like many times, then you maybe begin calling it a curse. But in terms of the next gen, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I guess it is a good marketing tool by the ATP. It does create buzz, so you can understand why they would do that. Let's see. ETCHEVERRY serving at 2-1. He serves in the net. Second serve. He serves the backhand of ZVEREV. Now ETCHEVERRY with a backhand which goes long by ETCHEVERRY. Error there by ETCHEVERRY, and it's first point to ZVEREV. ETCHEVERRY serving with ZVEREV standing very far behind the baseline. ETCHEVERRY serving to the forehand of ZVEREV, and it's a big winner there by ETCHEVERRY stepping into the court, and it's 15-all. You know, before this point, I was like, oh, who's going to take this point? I mean, there are two options. It's going to be ZVEREV or it's going to be ETCHEVERRY. And I didn't know, but now we do. It was ETCHEVERRY, and it's 15-all. Can you believe it? As he now serves to the forehand of ZVEREV. It's a nice deep return. Oh, that's a great angle there by ETCHEVERRY with his backhand, generating that curved angles as he's now stepping in for a smash, and he puts that smash away, and it's 30-15. ETCHEVERRY serving at 30-15. He serves to the forehand of Sasha ZVEREV as he goes with a big forehand, but he overcooked it. And it's 30-all. And the fans in the stadium are sitting there holding their breath in this extremely tight and nerve-wracking quarterfinal we have on our hands here today between ZVEREV and ETCHEVERRY. They can't believe their luck that they are there to witness this masterpiece of errors as he hits that in the net. Serve, second serve. 30-all. It's the backhand of ZVEREV. Now ETCHEVERRY with a cross-court backhand to the backhand of ZVEREV, who also goes cross-court with his backhand. And it's ZVEREV now running around. And ZVEREV now the big forehand to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY, goes down the line with his backhand. ZVEREV has to go down to his knees. Oh, and it's a drop shot by ETCHEVERRY. Can ZVEREV get there? He does. Now ETCHEVERRY with a lob. And the lob goes wide, though, there by ETCHEVERRY. And that means that it's a break point opportunity here for ZVEREV. Just another reminder, in about 2 minutes' time, I will be away for about 2 minutes, but I will be back very soon. I don't want to miss a single point of this mouth-watering clash between ZVEREV and ETCHEVERRY. Break point opportunity here for ZVEREV. Can he capitalize? And someone in the crowd is walking to a chair. She didn't want to wait until the changeover. She wants to see this drama unfolding immediately. And who can blame her? As ETCHEVERRY is serving second serve at 30-40. To the backhand of ZVEREV, who goes cross-court. ETCHEVERRY now the cross-court backhand to the backhand of ZVEREV. ETCHEVERRY with a forehand to the backhand of ZVEREV. ETCHEVERRY now the backhand to the backhand of ZVEREV, goes on the line. ETCHEVERRY now in trouble. ZVEREV in control. The big forehand winner by Alexander ZVEREV. He breaks back and he roars like a lion, as one of the journalists called him. And it's 2 games all. And we're back on track for another ZVEREV masterpiece.
Sasha, Sasha, Sasha.
Two games all. ZVEREV serving. He serves to the forehand of a 7 volley. And it works beautifully. But of SNV there by ZVEREV as he fist pumps, and now he's getting his mojo back. It's always been a pity that there wasn't a Austin Powers 4, right? We had Austin Powers 1, 2, and 3, and they all were cinematic masterpieces, but we never got Austin Powers 4, which is quite a pity. 15 love for ZVEREV as he serves a fault second serve. He serves to the forehand of ETCHEVERRY. Now the backhand to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. Forehand by ZVEREV to the forehand of ETCHEVERRY. ETCHEVERRY doing all the running. ZVEREV just channeling the ball to the places where it should go. ZVEREV now with the backhand to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. They exchange cross-court backhands. And our forehand by ETCHEVERRY to the forehand of ZVEREV goes down the line. ETCHEVERRY with a slice. ZVEREV now with a drop shot, but it's a poor executed drop shot there by ZVEREV into the net. And it's 15-all. Tell me in the chat if you could choose Hey everybody, I'm back. I hope you can hear me. Apologies for that. I'm just gonna put you on a quick break just to get my setup back again. I'll be with you very shortly.
There should be no special rules for Novak Djokovic at all.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. Here we are for something groundbreaking. Some might call it trial of the century. Some may call it trial of all time.
We did not expect to be covering the first Djokovic watch-along of the year, and he's not playing up an opponent. He's playing him against the state. Shout out to everyone joining us. Of course, we've never had so many people in the live chat. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to bring all 23,000 of you up to date with what's happened so far.
I did not think by the third set Ben would be rooting for Rafa and JG would be wishing it's all over. Yeah, a bit weird.
I mean, I just want the pain to end.
I don't even care if he's crawling on his knees and hitting the ball over the net by the fifth. If he gets there, it'll be incredible.
I'm just calling it as it is. I'm trying to be objective watching the match, and he's lost the match. What do you want me to do?
He hasn't lost it. He's still in it. Why do you keep saying he's lost it?
You think, okay, put a bet on then. What odds would you get on Rafa 2 sets down?
8s.
Stick a bet on, seeing as he's not out.
I'm just disappointed you're not supporting your man.
No, you're being delusional, Ben. Just grow up.
Not supporting your man.
Delusional.
Not supporting your man. Come on, you guys. What are you doing? I feel like I'm rallying for all of the Rafa fans out there now. Crazy.
Yeah, because you just need to grow up, mate. Like, be realistic.
I've watched tennis many times. I've seen comebacks many times.
Okay. You seen Medvedev lose from this position? Don't think so.
But anything can happen.
It's so good! He's done it!
Rafael Nadal has won his 21st Grand Slam. He's beaten Daniel Medvedev 7-5 in the 5th set. It's just been an absolute epic occasion. I can't believe he's done it. Rafael Nadal.
What?
Second time Australian Open champion. Vamos!
Djokovic.
Oh.
He's down the line!
Carlos Alcaraz has won! He is in the final! JJ's it! He has done it! Vamos! Carlos Alcaraz beats Novak Djokovic in the Madrid semi-finals. I've never quite seen anything quite like this.
And she doesn't need him! She doesn't need him! She falls to the floor. Iga Swiatek has won another Grand Slam. Amazing! Look at the emotion all over her face.
Yes,
they embrace at the net. Wow! Oh, Marin Cilic hits the forehand down the line. Oh my gosh! And we have match point, ladies and gentlemen.
John, Game Club Podcast. When you say you were confused about your tactics, what do you mean?
It's into the net and
He's done it! He's done it! Novak Djokovic has won Wimbledon. Not lost here since 2017.
Oh! An ace! It's just ace number 5 of the match. Carlos Alcaraz has come 2-5. My partner has literally just woken up for work and I've not been to bed yet.
Yes! He's done it! Carlos Alcaraz! And look at him on the floor crying.
So
he's
good.
He's sobbing, he's thrown the racket.
Oh.
What a day for Carlos Alcaraz.
All right, we are back in play. I do apologize for that. I see that Zverev is dominating the set. Let's just get this scoreboard a bit neater over here. You let me know if you can't hear me. I hope you can hear me. Oh, this doesn't look good, does it? Let's make this a bit neater. No, this is making it worse. Oh, this is also making it worse. Sorry, I'm really struggling with this. Let's see. I'm struggling to get the top. The thing is, this is not exactly something I can do off screen because this is the only way I can see how to look. Okay, let's try again. I can't get the top to show. Oh, it's impossible. Okay, let me de-share this. I'm going to try again. Right, let's see. Sorry about that. I see ZVEREV is in a good position thus far. No, still not great. Okay, well, this will have to do. Unfortunately, I hope that's fine with you. I can't get the top to show, but I guess we all know that it's ZVEREV. Yeah, at the top. Yeah. That's all I have to do. Sorry, but did you try the overlays? I think it's because I'm using Edge. Now, I know you're thinking, why on earth am I using Edge and not Chrome? For some reason, Chrome doesn't want to pick up my microphone. So that's why I'm using Edge. But now with Edge, it's not really looking great. I can't seem to expand the top because as soon as I expand the top part, then it just expands the bottom. And when I expand the bottom, then it just expands the bottom. So it doesn't seem like it's possible to expand the top area. All right. That'll have to do for now. I hope that's fine. It's Zero smashing. And it gets back by ETCHEVERRY. Will have Zverev have to smash again? No, it's fine. It's unreturned. And Zverev taking comfortable lead over this third set rather. 30 love. Serving for the third set. Let's see, what did I miss? Racing awesome powers for the spy. Right, let's see. Harmon is trapped in time, is open mouth. Oh, wow. Did you type that yourself or was that a chat GPT prompt? I'm saying they pay him in cryptocurrency called G2L coin. funny. So on, I'm sure you all are familiar with Hinge. Um, and someone said like you can choose your prompt. Okay, let's first get this Zverev. He has 3 set point opportunities here. Big serve there by Etcheverry. He goes for a big forehand to the cross-court backhand of Zverev. Zverev with the backhand down the line. Etcheverry gets there. Oh, that's beautiful placement by Etcheverry. Just guiding the ball into the gap there. And he saves 1 set points, and it's 15-40. Nice placement there by Etcheverry. But he's still behind you, serving at 15-40. And there are a few more set points up for grabs here. Oh, now suddenly looks great. To the scorecard, it fixed itself. Interesting. All right. Etcheverry serving at 15-40. He serves. It's a great return by Zverev. Zverev now with a cross-court backhand, which goes just long, and it's another set point saved by Etcheverry on his serve. Let's see. 30-40, another set point up for grabs here for Zverev. As Etcheverry serves, a great serve. Oh, that was almost a brilliant winner around the net by Zverev, but it wasn't to be. And it's another set point save. Oh, that was so close to being like a around the net backhand winner by Zverev, but it just went long. Etcheverry serving at deuce. And he has advantage. Can he close out the service game? And then from there, anything can happen. As was said by Ellie Goulding, who sang at the retirement party of Roger Federer, which is an odd choice. And I know I've said it already, but it bears repeating because it really almost ruined the emotional reaction of the retirement. Etcheverry serving at advantage. He serves to the backhand of Zverev, and the return goes long by Zverev, and it's a nice hold by Etcheverry, but Zverev will be serving for this set in this next service game. But I was asking, who is my favorite men's and women's to watch? Thanks for the question there. So in the men's side, I would like to regard myself still as a big Federer fan, but unfortunately I can't watch him any longer. Who do I like to watch now? Well, basically, Grigor Dimitrov, I have to admit. Unfortunately, like I've always said in 2013, like when Federer is going to retire, I'm going to vote for Dimitrov. And I guess I have to stick with that, even if it's like 10 years later than we would have anticipated. So, yes, it's probably not the person that's going to give me results, but I still like watching him play a lot. On the women's side, I was a big fan of Suarez Navarro, but unfortunately, she's also retired, Navarro. But so therefore, I didn't really have like a particular player on the women's side that I follow. I like to watch those that like are past their prime, but then they try to still get results, like an Azarenka type of player, which is it's nice to see when they get results after long stretch. Maybe I've been past the point. Oh, it's a beautiful response there by Etcheverry. Zverev hit a drop shot by Etcheverry, responded with a drop shot of his own, and it's 50-40. Oh, Kavi, yes. Nice to see. I've seen some of your plays. Nice to have you in the chat as well. All right, as Kavi says, let's go on to 50 likes. How many likes do we have currently? I'm actually not sure where to see. I see 2 hearts, but I'm guessing we are more than 50. But yeah, let's try to get to 50 likes. That was very nice to have you in the chat. Can Brazil win the tennis World Cup? The tennis World Cup. Right, let's see. Zverev serving for the set at 30-15. He serves the forehand. Oh, that's a great big serve there by Zverev. And 40-15, and that means that he has 2 set points. Only 4 aces this far for Zverev in this match, so it's a good time to bring it up. And to think this set started with Etcheverry breaking and holding, it was 2 games to love. And now Zverev is just steamrolling through the set. It's 40-15 as he serves on set point. He serves the forehand. Oh, that's a great serve. Once again, he's going for the smash. And the smash is executed successfully by Zverev. And he takes the third set, 6-3, and leads this match 2-1 to the Olympic gold medalist Alexander Zverev. All right, we can see some fans are going for a little breather. And I know I've been away now for 3 minutes, but I didn't have a chance to get to the bathroom quickly. So if you excuse me, I'm also quickly going to head off to the bathroom, and then we'll see how this match is going to end up. Do you think that Etcheverry is going to claim back the next set and take us to a decider, or will Zverev pull this through in 4 sets? Stay with us, and we'll find out.
There should be no special rules for Novak Djokovic at all.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans! Here we are for something groundbreaking. Some might call it trial of the century. Some may call it trial of all time.
We did not expect to be covering the first Djokovic watch-along of the year, and he's not playing an opponent. He's playing him against the state. Shout out to everyone joining us. Of course, we've never had so many people in the live chat. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to bring all 23,000 of you up to date with what's happened so far.
Did not think by the third set Ben would be rooting for Rafa and JG would be wishing it's all over. Yeah, a bit weird.
I mean, I just want the pain to end.
I don't even care if he's crawling on his knees and hitting the ball over the net by the 5th. If he gets there, it'll be incredible.
I'm just calling it as it is. I'm trying to be objective watching the match, and he's lost the match. What do you want me to do?
He hasn't lost it. He's still in it. Why do you keep saying he's lost it?
You think, okay, put a bet on then. What odds would you get on Rafa 2 sets down?
8s.
Just take a bet on. Seeing as he's not out.
I was just disappointed you're not supporting your man.
No, you're being delusional, Ben. Just grow up.
Not supporting your man.
Delusional.
Not supporting your man. Come on, you guys. What are you doing? I feel like I'm rallying for all of the Rafa fans out there now. Crazy.
Yeah, because you just need to grow up, mate. Like, be realistic.
I've watched tennis many times. I've seen comebacks many times.
Okay. You seen Medvedev lose from this position? Don't think so.
But anything can happen.
It's too good! He's done it!
Rafael Nadal has won his 21st Grand Slam. He's beaten Daniel Medvedev 7-5 in the 5th set. It's just been an absolute epic occasion. I can't believe he's done it. Rafael Nadal.
What?
2nd time Australian Open champion. Vamos!
Djokovic.
Oh.
He's down the line!
Carlos Alcaraz has won! He is in the final! JG set! He has done it! Vamos! Carlos Alcaraz beats Novak Djokovic in the Madrid semi-finals! I've never quite seen anything quite...
And we're back, and we're ready for this 4th set. Now, I know you've got some burning questions on your mind. Firstly, you probably want to know who's going to win this match. Is it going to be Zverev? Is it going to be Etcheverry? I don't know. And the second question is probably, who is this person going to face? Is it going to be Holger Rune? Is it going to be Casper Ruud? We don't know. But I guess the most burning question that you have on your mind, aliens, do they exist? And if so, where are they? I don't know. Tell me, what's your thoughts on that? We had this whistleblower now very recently, well, I think yesterday, in the US government, stating that the government has indeed find some evidence of UFOs, basically, but they have a new name for it. They now call it like unidentified flying phenomena or something like unidentified aerial phenomena. I'm not sure. And not only have they pieces, do they have pieces of that, but they also have pieces of actual aliens, of like pilots who basically crashed on Earth, who are of alien sorts. So that is quite interesting, and I'm sure it keeps you awake as well in the night. Very asking, how did we say Sasha would find a way? Maybe he is on his way. I've been saying about him all week. The cream rises to the top. Sasha is a top 10 player, maybe still a top 5. Interesting. It will be very interesting to see him in the semi-final because, I mean, I can actually see him now that you mention it, Gary. I can see him beating Rude or Runa. So, and then suddenly he's in a Grand Slam final. In fact, wouldn't that be his first Grand Slam final? It would, right? That would be his first Grand Slam final. I think so. Which is like and I think this is probably the tournament where we least expected it. So that would be quite interesting. Like Gary pointing out also, like, I think what gave this channel so many or put it on the map or gave a lot of exposure was the Djokovic trial. I remember I also watched that. And it was insane, like how many people were online at the same time. And I can't think like how it must have been for Ben and JG to watch the trial live and like follow it for so many hours with all that legal language and confusion. Let's see. ETCHEVERRY serving now in this fourth set, serving to the forehand of ZVEREV, who stays very far behind the baseline. ZVEREV now with a forehand cross-court to the forehand of ETCHEVERRY, also goes cross-court. ZVEREV down the line, and it goes to the net, but now he retreats. Now with the backhand down the line. ETCHEVERRY gets there with a forehand slice, but it's nice and deep. It's effective. And ZVEREV overcooks the ball. It's a bit of a shank. Is it really a shank? Let's give it the benefit of the doubt and say that it is indeed a shank. All right, let's see. ETCHEVERRY serving at 15 love. And I guess all the momentum are now with Alexander ZVEREV. ETCHEVERRY serving at 15 love to the backhand of ZVEREV, but it's a fault. Second serve. Serving to the backhand of ZVEREV. He goes cross-court with his backhand. And ZVEREV overcooks that ball with his backhand, and it's 15-all. I've got an interesting question. What would you say is maybe let's start with tennis. What is the most controversial moment in history, tennis history, would you say? Controversial maybe in terms of a decision made by an umpire. What would you say is the most controversial moment in tennis history? Or maybe a decision by a tennis organization, etc. And ZVEREV is stepping in now with a half volley. And it's executed magnificent there by ZVEREV for a half volley up the net. Something tells me he's ready for the grass season. Hey, M's nice to have you in the chat again. Oh, look at that half volley. With his, I don't know if it's a Wilson. If it is, his Wilson wand, if you will. Serve by ETCHEVERRY to the backhand of ZVEREV. Serve now with the backhand down the line. Oh, it's just wide by ZVEREV. And it's point to ETCHEVERRY, and it's 40-15. goes saying, I was wondering if that is going to come up. The Wimbledon banning the Russians, Belarusians last year was the most controversial in the modern era. And everybody's just looking the other way. Yeah, so if we had to create a short list, I would say probably, I mean, that's controversial. Banning Djokovic from Australia is controversial. I guess with Djokovic having been defaulted at the US Open is quite controversial. Oh, yeah. How can I forget, Gary? How can I forget? The worst Grand Slam final of all time. So I guess from a neutral perspective, we should then hope that Sasha does not get to the final, because if he puts in the same effort, or we should hope that he gets there so that he could make amends, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. But that was just a horrible final. Oh, and Serena's foot fault. Yeah, you could forget that. That was insane, as Ghost also points out. That was. Oh, and the Gaston ball drop. Yeah, as well. Yeah. Interesting. What others are there? There is the. I guess there are a few interesting toilet breaks. ZVEREV serving. And remember last year at Wimbledon, Tsitsipas against Kyrgios. Oh my word, the drama there. And there, like, Tsitsipas hit a ball in the crowd, which was then not the default, but it could be argued that it could have warranted one. ZVEREV stepping in with a big forehand. That's just masterful play there by ZVEREV. It's the first point. 15 love. Kyrgios just into the ring cup. Yeah, that's another one. And do you remember Gilbis, where he like he asked the cameraman to like go and show the spot of where the ball hit, and then he told the umpire something in the lights of he's gonna give the umpire a DVD of the highlights of the match or something like that. He was quite a character. Let's see, ZVEREV serving. Especially Rafa bathroom breaks. What comes to mind there for me is the bathroom break against Wawrinka, the Australian Open final. Now, I'm not here to raise an opinion on that, but it is noteworthy how the crowd then booed him when he came back on court, and then you could see like he wasn't really able to serve when he came back. And then, of course, Celeste getting stabbed is controversial. Is it controversial? I guess you could say it's not controversy in the sense that it's a decision that was made, which is questionable. Or you could argue that the decision by them to have relaxed security is questionable. It's definitely, obviously, a major event in tennis history, which caused a stir. Yeah. But I mean, it's insane to see how still I feel like security isn't great. I mean, fairly recently, like for example, I know when Federer played, there was someone in the crowd getting to him at the French Open, and I'm like, how is that still possible? That someone is able to get on court? That's insane. Pretty all ZVEREV serving. He serves to the back end of ETCHEVERRY, and the serve goes, or a return rather, by ETCHEVERRY goes long. It's 40-30. ZVEREV serving to the forehand of ETCHEVERRY. Now ZVEREV with the backhand slice now by ETCHEVERRY. Zverev with the forehand now to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. Zverev, the backhand on the line, where ETCHEVERRY gets there. Zverev now stepping into the court, and Zverev is now at the net. Is that a passing shot by ETCHEVERRY? No, I think it just went wide, and that means that Zverev holds, and it's 1-game all in this fourth and possibly last set, especially if it's up to Alexander Zverev. All right, ETCHEVERRY stirring at 1-game all. Also, maybe tell me in the chat if we think about the big three, Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, for each of them respectively, what is the best you have seen them play? So for each of them, you saw them play and you thought, wow, they played extremely well. Not necessarily their biggest result. It could be a random match, but they just maybe then completely destroyed the opponent where you were like, it couldn't have been perfected any better. What do you think for Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic respectively? That's a great return there by Zverev. It's a fantastic return with his backhand. ETCHEVERRY serving at 15-all. It's a fault, second serve. Yeah, so I'd like to hear your opinions on that, and then I'll give you mine after that as well. I think I have a match in mind for all three of them. All right, so there's a forehand by Zverev to the backhand. Oh, no, it just goes to the net of Zverev right there. 30-15. ETCHEVERRY serving. So it's the forehand of Zverev. That's a nice return by Zverev. Now Zverev in control with the backhand to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. Goes cross-court to the backhand of Zverev. ETCHEVERRY now with a slice. Zverev now stepping in. And Zverev tries to change direction there with his forehand, but he pulls it wide, and it's 40-50. You're saying my mic is squishy. Is it not sounding the same as it did earlier before the load shedding? Because maybe it's now using. Tell me, do you think it's possibly using my laptop mic instead of my external mic? No, it does seem like it's using the correct mic. So to repeat the question, so we have the big three, right? We have Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and Roger Federer. And I want to know, for each of them respectively, what is the best that you've seen them play in a particular match? Like which was better before load shedding? Okay. Do I sound far away? So I want to know basically for each of them respectively, what is the best match that you've seen them play ever before? And it doesn't need to be like a particular match that like the result that makes it great. It's just like they played well in that match where you think like they couldn't have played any better. Let's see. Zverev now with the drop shot. Oh, the drop shot goes in the net by Zverev. And it's 2-1. ETCHEVERRY leading with still on serve in this fourth set.
Tomas, might be good, but he's also scary.
All right, so we are back in set. For me, if I start with Federer, a few that comes to mind. One is a match he played against. Now I can't remember his name. American, old, not Agassi. Who's now the director of Miami. What's his name again? And it was in Shanghai against what's his name? I know in the chat. No, you can remind me, but I can't remember now his name. So there's that match. And then also, one I personally remember seeing live is his match against Murray in the World Tour Finals. I think it was like 2015. James Blake. Thanks, Sean. Yes, James Blake. See, there was a match against James Blake where he just completely destroyed him. It was like, that was just ridiculous. And then the match against Andy Murray, World Tour Finals, I think it was 2015, where he won 6-love, 6-1. That was also just insane. So, MZ, I'm particularly asking the big three players. For Djokovic, I'll actually say with his match against Federer. Now, I know it's an odd one. You don't really think of this match a lot. But the match he played against Federer, it was Australian Open semi-final. And that was in 2000 and... Oh, was it 16? I think it was 16. That's that match where, like, even that's great play there by both players there at the net, but ETCHEVERRY is able to echo one out. So, a semi-final against Federer 2016, where like there was even like someone in the crowd that went out of their like in a wheelchair, but they stood up in the chair. But there, the level of Djokovic was just like I don't think Federer did anything wrong in that match, but it was just completely outplayed. Like, Federer played with so much power. And Djokovic just used that power to direct the ball to angles where Federer couldn't get to. So that was, like, for me, the highest level I've personally seen Djokovic play. But I mean, I guess it's an odd one because people don't really bring that match up a lot. And then with Nadal, I would say the one where, now I can't remember, was it the final or the semi-final where we beat Djokovic at the French Open during COVID, where we like won the first set 6-love? You fans of Djokovic and Nadal, I'll probably remember more correctly, but I think it was the final where Nadal beat Djokovic so convincingly in 2021, I think. Sean asked me, what's the match where Fed went ages without an unforced error? That was against John Isner. I'm not sure which year that was. But yeah, so that's obviously an insane stat. But then I would say, like, if it's against John Isner, you don't really have to go for a lot of risk, do you? I mean, but yeah, that is insane. I'm saying Novak 2012 final. All right. Oh, that was an insane match. Zverev serving at 30-15. He serves a forehand of ETCHEVERRY. I think it's an ace. That is an ace. It's 30-15. Zverev serving to the forehand of ETCHEVERRY. Zverev now with the backhand. ETCHEVERRY doing a lot of running and slicing. And it's in. ETCHEVERRY now with the forehand down the line. Zverev gets there with the forehand of his own. ETCHEVERRY now hitting big balls. I see it's a big front to the forehand of Zverev. ETCHEVERRY now with the backhand cross court. Now Zverev opting for the slice. Well, he needs to go for the slice. That's the only option. Now again, a slice by Zverev. ETCHEVERRY now the big forehand cross court. It clips the net, but it's still in. Zverev with the forehand in the net. Wow. That's drama here tonight on Game to Love. Zverev serving at 40-30. And of course, for Rafa, the French Open final against Federer in 2008. That was also insane. Zverev serving, second serve, 40-30. That's a double fault. It was about time. But 8 double faults for Zverev in this match thus far. And I think it's something that he cannot really afford if he was to go through to the semi-finals in the next match. And they show that pressure points 1 is only 2 out of, I can't remember how many, I think it was 2 out of 7 for Zverev. As he serves the ace, follows up his ace. His double fault with an ace. Zverev serving. The forehand of Etcheverry. Zverev now with the backhand to the backhand of Etcheverry goes cross court to the backhand of Zverev as they're exchanging backhands cross court. Zverev on the line. Etcheverry with the forehand. Zverev now with the big forehand to the backhand side of Etcheverry. Just gets it. Zverev with the smash. It's in. And now Zverev with a big forehand to the backhand of Etcheverry. Zverev is now retreating back to the baseline. Zverev now with the forehand of Etcheverry as they're exchanging now forehand cross court. Who's going to go down the line? Oh, but Etcheverry, he gets it in. Oh, that's a big forehand by Etcheverry. Oh, my goodness, and it's cheering on the crowd. Big cross-court forehand winner there by Etcheverry. Probably playing the biggest match of his career thus far. Oh, just slipped the line. And it's the longest rally of the match. Zverev, advantage. No, deuce. It's a fault. Second serve. Zverev serving. That's a double fault. His 9th double fault of the match. And my choice is saying my choice is rebounding. I'm wondering whether I do think it's using this mic. I don't think it's using the laptop mic. I can try to mute and unmute myself for what it's worth. I could try something. Let's see. So is it only sometimes? Like, is it in intervals? It's sometimes better, or is it like constantly bad? It will maybe also influence how I try to fix it. Zverev stepping in. Tries a half volley, but he hits that ball in the net. And this means that it's advantage for Etcheverry. Can he break back? Not break back, can he break? They're currently on serve in the set. All right, let's see. Zverev serving, and it's a break point opportunity here for Etcheverry. As he serves the backhand of Etcheverry. Oh, Zverev at the net. That's clutch. Oh, that's beautiful play there by Alexander Zverev at the net with the volley. And we're back to deuce. Everything is going in and out. So I'm going to try to plug and unplug my mic with the cables. Let's see whether that makes a difference. Just maybe that. Maybe that. Advantage for Zverev if he holds here. I'm quickly going to try to fix the issue as he serves to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. Big four backhand winner down the line there by Zverev as he does hold, and it's 2 games all in this fourth set. All right, I'm quickly going to try to change a few things with my mic. I'll be back right now.
There should be no special rules for Novak Djokovic at all.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. Here we are for something groundbreaking. Some might call it trial of the century. Some might call it trial of all time.
We did not expect to be covering the first Djokovic watch-along of the year, and he's not playing an opponent. He's playing him against the state. Shout out to everyone joining us. Of course, we've never had so many people in the live chat. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to bring all 23,000 of you up to date with what's happened so far.
Did not think by the third set Ben would be rooting for Rafa and JG would be wishing it's all over.
All right, I hope maybe that makes a difference. I just unplugged it again. Right, let's see. It's very now serving and it's 30 love. 2 games all in this fourth set. Very difficult to really try and guess how this is going to end. It's very serving at 30 love as he serves to the forehand of Zverev, but it's a fault second serve. Love. It's a fault. Second serve. As he hits it to the forehand of Zverev, who goes to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. Zverev now with the cross-court backhand again. A slice now by ETCHEVERRY. And the slice goes long by ETCHEVERRY, and it's 40-15. Right, let's see. Big serve there by ETCHEVERRY, and it's unreturned by Zverev. And that means that ETCHEVERRY holds and he leads. Still on serve in this fourth set, 3-2.
Tomas, Martin ETCHEVERRY. Tomas, Martin ETCHEVERRY. Tomas, Martin ETCHEVERRY. Might be good, but he's also scary.
All right, let's see. Can Zverev keep up in this. Oh, I'm just saying it's much better. I'm actually surprised. Tell me if it goes badly again. I just basically plugged everything out and in again. If that does the trick, I'm happy. I'm saying the Federer 2007 Wimbledon final. Also a great performance there. Yeah, and also remember the Wimbledon 2000 and was it 15? Where we played the semi-final against Andy Murray. That was also an insane match. Like also that because I mean before the match, a lot of people were saying that that Murray could actually be the favorite in that match, but then Federer's serving was just next level. But then unfortunately he wasn't able to replicate that serving in the final against Djokovic. Zverev now at the net with the backhand to the backhand of Etcheverry tries to go for the passing shot, but Zverev is at the net and it puts that away, and it's 15-all. Zverev serving at 15-all as he serves to the forehand of Etcheverry. Was it serve in? It was unreturned there by Etcheverry and it's 30-15. Score line now poised. Zverev taking the first set 6-4. Etcheverry taking the second set 6-3. Zverev taking the third set 6-3. And we are on serve in this fourth set. Zverev serving up 30-15. Almost 3 games all. It's a big forehand down the line there by Zverev. It's kind of number. It's 40-15. Zverev serving to the backhand of Etcheverry. Zverev now stepping in. Ooh, and it's a shank by Zverev. Can just be costly. And it's 40-30. Zverev hitting that ball out of the park. Zverev serving at 40-30. He serves into the net. Second serve. He serves the forehand of Etcheverry, and the return, I think, went long. Is the umpire going to confirm? It also looked long to me. Yes, seems like they confirmed that it was long, and that means that Zverev holds, and it is 3 games all in this fourth set. As we reach 3 hours, I think. This match time just eclipsed 3 hours of this match, and we could have still 2 more hours left. And M saying the mic went bad again. I do apologize for that. I'm not really sure how to fix it, so I'm now just hoping that it's not too bad. ETCHEVERRY serving at 3 games all. He serves the forehand of ZVEREV. Now with a big forehand to the backhand of ZVEREV, who scoops it up with his backhand slice. Big forehand by ETCHEVERRY. And ZVEREV is not able to hit the passing shot, and it's 15 love for ETCHEVERRY. Serve by ETCHEVERRY into the net. Gary saying it's a seesaw match, 1 or 2 breaks in each set making the difference. Yeah, there's not really a big ebb and flow. It's like they are both playing not really great, to be honest. And then at the end of the set, you have this one break that decides the fight. As ZVEREV goes to the net there to finish off that point and it's 15 all. ETCHEVERRY serving at 15 all. To the backhand of ZVEREV. ETCHEVERRY now with a big forehand into the net, though. And it's 30. Always seeing a glimpse of what could be the first break of the set. ETCHEVERRY serving. Oh, it's a big serve. Was it in, though? Nope, it's not. Second serve. He serves the backhand of ZVEREV. It's a big forehand to the forehand of ZVEREV. ETCHEVERRY now with the forehand down the line to the backhand of ZVEREV, who goes to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. ZVEREV in control now. It's a big forehand causing ETCHEVERRY to run, but he gets there. Now ZVEREV with the backhand down the line, he gets there as well. Slice by ZVEREV, and ETCHEVERRY hits his forehand into the net. And that means that 2 break point opportunities there for ZVEREV to really get a grip on this match. It was an odd bounce there for ETCHEVERRY to handle, but I think it was due to the spin placed in ZVEREV on the ball with his slice. I think it maybe also kept the line there, making it an open bounce. 3 break points, let's see. Can ZVEREV take one of these? ETCHEVERRY serving at 15-40. He serves a fault, second serve. Second serve on 15-40. He serves to the backhand of ZVEREV, who returns it to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. Now it's a backhand down the line, and it clips the net by ZVEREV. Now ZVEREV, the forehand cross to the forehand of ETCHEVERRY, who tries to hit a winner, but he goes wide, ETCHEVERRY, and that means that it's a break by Alexander ZVEREV. And now the match is truly in his hands. He leads by 2 sets and a break. Can he keep focus and pull it through to the end? Alexander ZVEREV. All right, let's see. Gary pointing out, I also saw this from Gil Gross, pointing out how Stefanos Tsitsipas is not able to handle Carlos Alcaraz, and it looks like it's just going to get worse. In order, his points won, 51.2%, 45.3%, 44.4%, 41, 40. So are we going to get to a point where it's just bagels and breadsticks? Well, it's already bagels and breadsticks, basically. It's insane. It's really insane. And that is not looking good for. And I didn't like the comments made by Tsitsipas afterwards. He said something in the lines of that he took a nap before the match, and that was not a good idea. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. It's not a good look when he keeps on making excuses afterwards. When he's not only being beaten, but he's beaten like constantly. So yeah, it's interesting what this means for Tsitsipas in his future. And I wonder whether that makes the loss against Djokovic in that final a few years ago hurt even more, because maybe that might have been his only opportunity. Right, let's see. Zverev serving. He serves the forehand of Etcheverry. Now cross court by Zverev as they're changing cross court forehands. Who's going to change direction? Zverev goes down the line now with his forehand. Oh, but it's a nice down the line backhand by Etcheverry as he steps in. But he overcooks it, Etcheverry, and that's the first point of this game. 2-0 on Zverev. But well, interesting, also given that both of them are so young. I mean, they're head to head. What is it now? So you say the last with his 5 matches. So I assume that the head to head is 5-0. So it'll be interesting to see like what will the head to head be in 10 years' time. I mean, what is the most lopsided head to head in tennis history? I know there's like a Federer with Ferrer. That's like something like 15 love or something. And then there is Djokovic and Monfils, I think, as well, is also something similar. So interesting to see whether that can maybe break the record for the most lopsided head-to-head. And I know Gasquet doesn't have a great head-to-head with the big 3, but I mean, at least he has a few victories. I don't think he has a 0 with either of them, or does he? I'm not sure. Maybe you can tell me in the chat. Ooh, and Zverev tries to slice that ball away at the net with the volley, but he slices the volley right into the net. It always looks so cool, that shot. It looks like a Star Wars lightsaber. Where you can raid your opponent into oblivion. Zverev serving at 15:30. Oh, it's a great serve. Unreturned there by Etcheverry. Or was it a fault? I think it was a fault. My apologies. Second serve. As he serves to the back end of Etcheverry. And it's in the net by Zverev, and there's just 2 break point opportunities back for Etcheverry. This is classic Zverev. And Jane saying that he's never beaten Nadal Gasquet. Okay, yeah, I thought this may be the case. I know, like, in total, he's like 53 against the big 3. But okay, so he's never beaten Nadal. That's interesting. So I wonder if that's then the most lopsided head-to-head in terms of one of them being 0. Oh, that's a great hitting backhand there by Zverev, catching the line as he serves one of his break points, and it's 30-15. Let's see, I'm gonna Google head-to-head Gasquet Nadal. So it's 18-0 head-to-head between Nadal and Gasquet. 18-0. So you're correct, Jane, saying that he hasn't won. That's the most lopsided one. As Zverev says, another break point, and it's used. So it's 18-0 between Nadal and Gasquet. Let's see what is Djokovic and Monfils. That is also 18-0. Okay, interesting. And Federer, rare. I think that's 17-0. Yes, it's 17-0. So I wonder if it's possible that Tsitsipas and Alcaraz could be something like that, which is more insane because, I mean, Tsitsipas is like he has one Grand Slam final, and I guess Ferrer as well. So maybe it's more or less the same. ZVEREV with the forehand to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. ZVEREV now with the forehand again to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY as they are now exchanging backhands. As ETCHEVERRY hits that goal long, and it's now 3 points in a row, much needed by ZVEREV as he has advantage. Gary saying, somehow I managed to like Steph despite things like no more melatonin, no more naps. Is there something wrong with me? No, I hear you. That's also like I think I'm in the same boat as you, Gary, actually. Like he does things that I don't like, but somehow there's something about him that I still like. And I guess also the way he plays. I do enjoy watching him play. And as Peter also points out, he has some form of charm to him with his social media presence and his interviews. So yeah, I guess it's odd. Or let's see, ZVEREV serving to the backhand. Oh, serve and volley. And he goes for the volley. It's at the net. Oh, but it's well played there by ETCHEVERRY. The serve and volley not working out there for ZVEREV. And we're back to the thing. I'm not sure whether maybe the chat is a bit behind to. I mean, coming in the chat to my stream, but yeah, I used to say Nadal 18, Gasquet 0. Not sure if that stops, but yeah, Nadal fans need the day brightened. I guess so. I can't think that there's one worse than that. 18-0. I wonder whether we would get something if I Google worst tennis head-to-head. But I mean, worse in terms of one of them should be 0. Oh, there's a Reddit question posted in 2017, but the post was deleted. Yeah, so for example, Djokovic and Berdych, let's get the latest updated one. Djokovic, Berdych, head-to-head. That is 25-3. So I guess it's more lopsided in the sense that it's a 22 difference rather than the 18. But as I say, I specifically want to look at one where you literally have 0. Because somehow for me, I don't know whether you agree, I think 18-0 is worse than 25-3. Even though the difference is smaller. Because I just feel like if you have 0, you've never beaten them. I mean, there's something about that. As ZVEREV is able to hold his serve and he shouts with joy. He leads 5-3, and he's so close to taking this match. Or let's see. And Jane agrees that the ETCHEVERRY song is the catchiest song in the history of music. Hopefully we'll get another chance to play it once more before the end of this match. Goes pointing out Nadal has 0 victories against him. That is well done. Well done on that. Which is also like, it's a pity that we never saw like there are a few head-to-heads which would have been nice to explore further. Like, it's a pity that we never had a Federer and Alcaraz match. I guess we would have like a few exhibition matches between them in the future, surely. Like we had a few Sampras and Federer exhibition matches as well. As the smash is put away there by ETCHEVERRY, and it's a very quick service game here by ETCHEVERRY as he leads this game 40-love. And James saying there that the ZVEREV tune is not very nice. Oh, it's not that bad, but I agree. I mean, it's not the same quality of the ETCHEVERRY masterpiece that we're going to witness and celebrate together. I bring to you Thomas Martin ETCHEVERRY.
Tomas Martin ETCHEVERRY. Tomas Martin ETCHEVERRY. Tomas Martin ETCHEVERRY. Might be good, but he's also scary.
Let's not muddy the water with irrelevant variables. I've wondered, like, it would be cool. I know it's unfortunate actually with the Laver Cup that both Borg and McEnroe still have a year left. Because given now Federer retired, I guess the aim is, or the eventual plan is to make him the captain of Europe and then get someone else the captain of Team World, like Roddick, for example. But I mean, how cool will it then also be if they actually then play? Because it's a bit ridiculous, like, with all due respect, Borg, especially, just sitting there, and he's not really doing anything except sitting there and being the face of a legend while sitting there, not really even giving a lot of guidance to the players. So to add a bit of relevance for the not the captains, the coaches, or are they the captains? I think they're called the coaches, right? Or are they the captains? Couldn't remember the terminology. But it will be cool if they then actually play as well in the thing. Even if it's just doubles, that's also fine. But I think it would be cool if they also play. And then we can see like a Federer versus Roddick again. Or maybe even doubles. Then you have like Federer and Alcaraz versus Roddick and Felix or something like that. Let's see, ZVEREV serving actually for the match right now. And it's up 15-love as ETCHEVERRY goes with the backhand to the forehand of ZVEREV. ETCHEVERRY now with the backhand down the line. ZVEREV with the cross-court forehand. Now ETCHEVERRY with these cross-court forehands. ZVEREV with the backhand down the line to the backhand of ETCHEVERRY. ETCHEVERRY now with a big backhand cross-court, but ZVEREV is able to handle that. ZVEREV now with a sliced forehand. It goes deep, but it's in. ZVEREV now with a big cross-court forehand. That's a big, massive forehand winner there by ETCHEVERRY. And it takes it to 15-all. My goodness, I think that's the shot of the match. That's a massive forehand winner. On the run. Ooh, look at that trajectory down the line. That is brilliant. They're saying the aim is to sell expensive tickets and make money. The world is designed to lose, like the chumps who played the... I'm not familiar with that. Sorry. Yeah, I also think Federer Roddick would be cool. I mean, I'm open for suggestions for other people for Team World. Roddick is the first that comes to mind. Jane, that's brilliant. I'm not sure whether you say do you mean brilliant as in Federer and Roddick, or do you mean the ETCHEVERRY tune? I mean, I can play it again if you wish. I mean, we are regardless because it's such a catchy tune. Okay, saying that the Team World needs to get the Russians. I actually agree with that. It will make it a bit more competitive if they do that. ZVEREV serving at 30-15. I would also be interested to know, like, the Rafa fans, would you prefer... Obviously, you would prefer Rafa not retiring at all, but if you now need to choose how he retires, would you choose him retiring, like, at the French Open, or would you maybe choose him to retire at the Laver Cup like Federer did? Because I feel like before the retirement at the Laver Cup, that's brilliant play there by ETCHEVERRY as he's pumped up to make it 30-all. Because I feel like maybe before the Laver Cup, I thought that's not going to be a nice retirement. It would have been cool if it was like at an official tournament, etc. But then at the end, it worked actually very, very well with the team spirit and the emotion and so forth. So, what's your thoughts on that? Would you then actually also like it if he does that at the Labour Cup, with Federer then being there as well and Djokovic? Or would you prefer him bowing out at a French Open tournament? And then, secondly, would you prefer that he states before the tournament that it's going to be his last one, or would you prefer him making a shock announcement afterwards? Because I guess the thing with announcing it beforehand is that then it's so nerve-wracking, because then every match is like a must-win, otherwise you are retired. And then it adds a tension rather than serving as a final celebration of your career, if that makes sense. As Zverev takes that point, and that means one thing and one thing only. It is match point for Sasha Zverev.
Match point.
All right, let's see match point for Zverev at 40-30. Zverev serves. A big serve and it's unreturned by ETCHEVERRY, and that means that it's a victory at the end, fairly comfortably, you might say, for Sasha Zverev, who takes this game 6-4, 3-6, 6-3, and 6-4 as they embrace at the net. Brilliant victory here for the one and only Sasha Zverev, who is through to the semi-final of the Roland Garros Masters. Can you believe it? Would you have predicted this before the tournament? I think not. Well done to Sasha Zverev. Oh my goodness. Max saying, I thought Aman was about to sing Poker Face with ma. For what did I say, ma again? I can't remember. Well, for match point, yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I want to stick around a little bit for the chat. Let's see what you guys have to say. If you are leaving right now, do please consider hitting the like button on this video just before you leave. It really helps the channel a lot. And subscribe to the channel if you are new. What a match we had there, which will go down in the history books as one of the pivotal points in the history of not only tennis, but sport, and I would say even the human species in general. You can tell everybody that you were there, you saw that match, and was as insane as the history books are suggesting. Oh, Gary's saying that you called this. You called this last Saturday. I get lucky sometimes. Well done, Gary, on that. As I must say, it's a good call. So who fell out in his draw then that he got this far? Because I'm assuming that the initial draw was not expecting him to face ETCHEVERRY in the quarter. So I can't remember now who he would have faced and who he then faced in the end. Yeah, Jane, I was thinking Safin as a coach is also interesting. I guess Roddick would maybe be a more of an entertainer for the crowd with his personality, and also like the Roddick and I think Roddick and Roger has nice chemistry. All right, I have some hello Schneel and hi Lexi. Well done for Martin. Well done for Martin. Not following Martin. Martin who? Oh, you mean ETCHEVERRY. Tomas Martin ETCHEVERRY. All right, thank you everybody. Really enjoyed this. I'll see you soon for another match. Well, I enjoyed this a lot. I hope you did as well. From my side, remember to hit the like button if you are heading your way out, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe. If it's raining, make sure that you are driving safely home. If it's not raining, still make sure that you are driving safely home. Either way, make sure that you are driving safely home. If you're walking, make sure that you're walking safely home. if you are flying and you're not the pilot, let's hope that the pilot will take you safely home. And I'm stalling because I'm trying to find the button that will that will take us out. But here we go. Thank you very much. Enjoyed it. Stay safe. I'll see you again soon.